bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Stade du Commonwealth, on est fin prêt pour le botté d'ouverture au tirage au sort. Pierre, les Eskimos ont gagné.
Oui.
Et ils ont opté pour botter. C'est ce que fait Sean Fleming à l'instant. Vous souhaite de passer une bonne fin d'après-midi, un bon début de soirée avec nous. Au fond, tarde avant de prendre le ballon et le retour se fait par Hall qui remonte au 25 et il est poussé en touche. Il y était déjà à la hauteur de la ligne de 31. Botté de 65 verges, un retour de 20 pour Darren Hall. Et voici Pierre-Anthony Calvillo, oui, le chef d'orchestre, le mentor, le meneur chez les Alouettes. Et je te dis tout de suite, si on avait à voter comme joueur par excellence dans l'Est, Calvillo serait mon choix.
Il serait le mien aussi, Pierre.
Oui, hein?
Parce qu'il faut se poser la question, est-ce que les Alouettes pourraient être là où ils sont sans Anthony Calvillo? La réponse, évidemment, c'est non. Alors c'est le joueur le plus utile à l'équipe.
Notre choix est fait.
On a été capable de remplacer les porteurs de ballon,
oui,
mais Calvillo, évidemment, c'est la carte maîtresse.
Calvillo se retrouve avec Lawrence Phillips au champ hier. Passe, ouf. Et là-dessus, on glisse, hein? On joue sur du gazon naturel, il ne faut pas l'oublier. Perte de 3 verges, c'est Shannon Garrett qui a réussi le plaqué.
Oui, un jeu que les Alouettes nous ont habitués à voir. Passe dans le flanc du côté gauche. Sauf qu'il y a un joueur de plus du côté des Eskimos. Alors, on a 2 joueurs des Alouettes pour 3 joueurs des Eskimos. Normalement, les Alouettes nous habituent à prendre la bonne décision. Sur ce jeu-là, vraiment, il y avait... c'était une... on montait une côte, là. Je veux dire, c'était pas un terrain égal. Oui.
Alors, un deuxième essai pour les Alouettes. Formation qui est différente. On a 4 receveurs du même côté. Courte passe pour Lawrence Phillips qui capte. Et lui aussi, Phillips glisse. On voit que c'est pas du tout la même chose. Un gain de 3 verges seulement. J'ai parlé avec plusieurs joueurs. On était sur le terrain avant le match. Et tout le monde fend pendant qu'on a la reprise. Vous allez voir de quelle façon, en voulant bifurquer, Phillips tient.
Et dommage qu'il est tombé parce qu'il y avait de l'excellent blocage au niveau des receveurs de passe des Alouettes. Phillips qui avait beaucoup de terrain devant lui, mais en voulant changer de direction, a glissé. Alors, il faudra qu'il retourne au banc, parler au gérant de l'équipement, Ronnie James, et s'assurer qu'il a les bons crampons.
En 2 jeux, on a vu 2 joueurs qui ont glissé devant l'adversaire. Terry Baker est là pour le dégagement. Baker qui a une moyenne de 35,4 net. Et avant les retours, 45 verges. La remise est bonne et le botté ne l'est pas. C'est très, très court. J'ai l'impression que les Eskimos vont prendre le ballon à peu près vers la ligne de 50, à la ligne de 48 dans le territoire. Et en général, les entraîneurs des unités spéciales sont des gars qui manifestent.
Parce que d'ailleurs, là, Pierre, les unités spéciales, oui, il y a de la stratégie, mais pendant qu'on revoit ici, on le voit direct, au contact, le ballon était mal placé sur le pied de Terry Baker. Et c'est ce qui a fait que, dès le début du botté, là, 17 verges seulement, oui. Alors, les unités spéciales, Pierre, on l'a mentionné, c'est toujours important dans un match. Là, les Eskimos qui prennent le ballon à la ligne de 48 des Alouettes.
Et là, regarde combien il y a de joueurs au champ d'aide sur la première ligne. Ray, bien protégé, un receveur en plein centre et c'est capté à la ligne de 32, un premier essai. Et c'est une passe qui donne un gain de 17 verges, la même longueur que le botté de Baker de tantôt.
Et tout a commencé avec la protection, puis Ricky Ray est installé dans la pochette. Et il y a eu beaucoup de temps. Les Alouettes qui font des jeux en croisés. On arrive à Ricky Ray, mais il est trop tard.
C'est l'autre Rick qui gagne, de Rick à Rick, Ray à Walters. Alan McKinnon m'a dit de surveiller attentivement aujourd'hui le travail de Chris Brazel. On pourrait le voir beaucoup. Et lui aussi, on le verra. Avery échappe à un premier plaqueur, mais là, on se retrouve à 2 ou 3 sur son dos. Et c'est un gain de 2 verges seulement pour Avery. Sur le plaqué, le numéro 94, Rob Brown.
Pierre, j'ai bien hâte de voir là, ce duel entre Avery et la défensive des Alouettes. On revoit Avery qui aime bien changer de direction, mais les Alouettes, la force de la défensive, c'est la rapidité, l'intensité. On a vu, regardez, là, il y a 5 joueurs des Alouettes qui sont là. Et c'est ce que les Alouettes vont devoir faire tout le long du match pour avoir du succès contre Avery.
2 et 8, monsieur Ricky Ray, produit de Sacramento State. C'est vraiment une révélation pour les Eskimos, pour le football canadien. Ray en formation parapluie. Oh, puis il échappe le ballon! On lui a arraché. Attention, ça peut être un long retour pour Johnson. Il n'y a personne qui va le rattraper. Il n'y a pas de mouchoir. Les Alouettes qui prennent les devants. Un touché, 68 verges, la course. Et qui est celui qui a arraché? Est-ce que c'est
Tim Strickland, encore une fois. Il avait eu du succès lors du premier match dont les Eskimos avaient eu un sac du corps, avaient recouvert un échappé. Et là, les Alouettes, là, vraiment, encore une fois, défensive agressive. On avait eu du succès lors du premier match. Les Eskimos s'étaient jurés d'avoir réglé leurs problèmes de protection.
Il y en a manqué un peu là.
Et ce qui me surprend, c'est que les Alouettes, avant même le jeu, on va revoir là, Strickland qui lui fait échapper le ballon. Kevin Johnson qui ramasse le ballon et finalement là, est tout seul.
Court 68 verges. Je regarde derrière. Il n'y a aucun joueur au chandail vert dans les parages. Et les Alouettes prennent les devants. La transformation de Baker est réussie. C'est 7-0, Pierre.
Oui, et ce qui me surprend, c'est qu'on a vu le maraudeur William Loftus était déjà aligné sur le troisième receveur du côté large des Eskimos, ce qui voulait dire qu'il y a une couverture zéro homme à homme. Donc, Ricky Ray doit savoir qu'il va avoir de la pression rapidement. Il ne s'est pas débarrassé du ballon.
Il n'a jamais vu Strickland qui s'en venait. Alors, pour Strickland, il le reprend. Il y a 2 sacs, Strickland. Plusieurs fois, on l'a vu au champ hier, surtout tu l'as mentionné lors du match contre Edmonton. Décidément,
pendant qu'on voit Kevin Johnson. Et Kevin Johnson, on sait qu'il a eu des déclarations chocs cette semaine. Il a dit que John Avery, ce n'était pas le meilleur porteur de ballon, que Lawrence Phillips l'était.
Et que tous les porteurs de ballon des Alouettes étaient meilleurs qu'Avery.
Et moi, ce que je pense qui est arrivé, c'est que, je ne sais pas si tu as vu à Ottawa ce que John Avery a dit sur la défensive des Renegades. Il a dit que selon lui, c'était la meilleure défensive de la Ligue canadienne. Alors, je sais que du côté des Alouettes, on n'a pas pris ce commentaire-là de belle façon. Et quelle meilleure façon pour la défensive des Alouettes que de compter un touché.
Alors, le premier touché des Alouettes, l'œuvre de l'unité défensive. Et Terry Baker avec un botté qui est capté à la ligne de 15, justement par le même Avery. Avery est plaqué par Tim Fleiser alors qu'il arrivait à la ligne de 35. Un botté de 60 verges, un retour de 16 pour celui qui est le deuxième dans la Ligue canadienne pour le nombre de verges gagnées. Mais là, tout inclus. Botté de dégagement, botté d'envoi, passe et course. Oui. Au total, Avery, 2150 verges. Il n'y a que Charles Roberts qui devance.
Et on peut prendre une petite seconde Pierre, pour mentionner Tim Fleiser. On ne voit pas jouer de façon régulière à la ligne défensive, mais qui fait un travail colossal sur les unités spéciales. Beau plaqué ici, venu plaquer Avery aux jambes, bien encerclé.
Ricky Ray avec un premier essai, il n'y a plus qu'un seul joueur au champ hier. Et là, on a bougé. Ed Filion qui est venu saluer Ricky Ray d'un but trop près. Pierre Johnson, c'est la 12e fois cette année qu'il a réussi l'exploit de ramasser un ballon qui traîne comme ça. Tout de suite, on retrouve David sur les lignes de côté.
Oui, voilà donc pourquoi M. Johnson est un homme heureux présentement, parce que, comme vous le mentionnez, Pierre, c'est arrivé un peu plus tôt cette saison lors d'un match contre les Stampeders à Calgary. Malheureusement, le toucher avait été annulé en raison d'une pénalité chez les Alouettes.
Oui, c'est vrai. C'est bon de nous le rappeler, David. Merci. Alors, cette fois-ci, c'est pour ça que je regardais, pas de drapeau au sol, pas de pénalité. Premier essai, 5 verges à faire. Avery est fauché au champ arrière par qui encore?
Kevin Johnson. Alors, c'est toujours... OK, le match est très tôt, là. Il y a à peine 5 minutes, mais on va revoir la course. Avery qui est à gauche de Ricky Ray, mais on va lui donner le ballon. Oh non, c'est le même jeu. C'est le toucher de Kevin Johnson qu'on remonte.
Perte de 2 sur le dernier jeu.
Il a bien fait d'avoir ramassé le ballon tout en continuant à courir, parce que comme à fois qu'on voit des joueurs de football essayer de ramasser un ballon et de cafouiller, de l'échapper, finalement l'équipe adverse revient chercher le ballon.
Deuxième essai et 7 avec ces 2 verges perdues. Ray avait de la visite au champ. Ouf, la passe est venue bien près d'être interceptée. Perry Carter est le seul à avoir touché au ballon et c'était déjà trop haut pour lui.
Oui, mais les Eskimos sont chanceux, Pierre, parce que Terry Ray, le receveur de passe, est resté dans le champ arrière pour bloquer, pour protéger Ricky Ray. Il devait bloquer Tim Strickland et il a carrément plaqué.
Oh, ben oui.
Alors, les Eskimos qui s'en tirent ici avec une punition qui aurait été appelée très facilement.
Sean Fleming, qui, comme Baker, fait tout, les botter. Pour le dégagement, sa moyenne nette, 33,8. Son plus long, 73. Stokes, qui a été la vedette contre les Eskimos, est là pour recevoir. C'est haut, ça, monsieur. C'est capté à la ligne de 32 et Stokes cherche désespérément un bloqueur devant lui. Il n'en trouve pas et c'est une lourde perte. Il pourrait y avoir pénalité là-dessus. Il n'y en a pas encore une fois. Et à la toute fin, Stokes était déjà au sol. Perte de 12, bottée de 39 pour regarder depuis le stade du Commonwealth. Le football, mon selects des Alouettes.
Big game, 2 touchdowns, return on punt returns back in August, but these guys on the outside forcing them back inside. That's exactly what you got to do. That is what you call your contained people. Nice job on that play by Scott Robinson.
Big numbers for AC Anthony Calvillo, over 4,000 yards passing for the second time in his career. Lawrence Phillips, the ball carrier. Terry Ray, the tackle. Phillips, of course, a star at Nebraska, where he used to butt heads with the Oklahoma Sooners and a guy by the name of Terry Ray.
Well, when you take a look at the lineup, field quarterback, Lawrence Phillips, Haskins, who had that outstanding game last time against Toronto, last time that Montreal played. The receiving crew, Ben Cahoon, Stokes, Copeland, Woodcock at the wide receiver, and a big offensive line. Brian Chew, Lesrud, Flory, Fort, and Okeke at the left tackle.
Gain of 4 for Phillips, 2nd and 6. Calvillo with time, downfield, and incomplete, just out of the reach of Keith Stokes, the slot back.
Well, Keith Stokes working against Donnie Brady. They really like having him back. Second game back. Missed a couple of weeks with an ankle. He's back. We take a look at that front four. Reese Charbonneau, Alfred Payton, what a year he's having. Kinney at the other end. Terry Ray, Mobley on the outside. Calvin Powell filling A.J. Gass's shoes in the middle. And Kellogg, Brady, Garrett, Frank, and Coleman at the quarterback.
First punt for Terry Baker, 16 yards. That put the Alouettes in an early hole until the fumble recovery by Kevin Johnson. Jason Tucker returning today. Winston October not in the Eskimo lineup. Better Baker punt. Here's Jason Tucker. Breaks the first tackle and then pushed out of bounds at the Eskimo 50, a 44-yard punt. 6 on the return. We're just underway in Edmonton.
Premiums start as low as $20 a month, guaranteed never to increase.
Chris Cuthbert, Chris Walby, Steve Armitage, and our CFL on CBC crew from Commonwealth Stadium. Ricky Ray will have his composure tested after that initial fumble that puts the Eskimos behind by an early touchdown.
That's one of those things, the O-line in the back's got to get it straightened out to find out who exactly they got to block in that confusing scheme, the defensive scheme that the Alouettes are running.
Play action, and Ray on a roll, and he'll pull it down. Ricky Ray, big gain, down into Alouette territory at the 38-yard line.
Well, you want to talk about the fact that I tell you all the attention is drawn to John Avery. That allows him to get to the outside. Ricky Ray with the big scramble. You see Avery right there. Wendell Davis back after a 3-game hiatus. Vaughn and Tucker inside. Brazell and Herbie back after a 1-game miss with a concussion. The offensive line, Princeton, Comiskey, Groenwagen, Morris, and Bruce beating the veteran there.
20-yard run by Ray matches his season high. There's Stefan Reed, fine Canadian linebacker, part of this stingy Alouette defense. Avery, and what was billed as a battle of the two best running backs in the league. And right now, Avery and Phillips finding the running very difficult.
Well, most definitely, but that's because Montreal's going to line up a lot of guys. We talked about the defensive line. Here they are. Fillion and Brown inside. Stewart and Mark Megna on the outside, number 54. The linebacker crew, Kevin Johnson, who got a touchdown already. Strickland, the man who caused it. And Stephen Reed, the reliable linebacker on the outside. The secondary, Loftus, Durden, Miles, Shaw, and Washington at the quarterback.
Loss of 1. 2nd and 11. Avery the lone setback. And Ray looking deep, looking for Brazel. And he overthrows the receiver by at least 5 yards.
That's a nice job, and again, what Montreal's going to do is going to line up 5 guys. This time they only bring 3. They're dropping them. They're going to end up dropping some guys. See the guys trying to squeeze out of there. All they're trying to do is they're trying to get the calls from the offensive line to center. In this case, Tim Princeton of the Eskimos has got to make the calls. That determines whether they slide, who picks up who. If they start dropping guys, then there's a responsibility to the free man, the free blocking lineman, to find someone to hit. Because I guarantee you, 90 out of 90% of the time they're bringing somebody from the outside.
Third down at the 42. It will be Fleming to punt. Stokes awaits, and Fleming likely aiming for the coffin corner. He does angle it to the near sideline. Stokes let it go by him. Did it hit him? Is that a free ball? Yes! Are the Eskimos on it? Yes! Touchdown, Edmonton! The pile-up continues, and we think it's Roger Wrightson at the bottom of the pile with the football for the Eskimos.
You can see him there. He's not going to let that ball go. Great job of coverage downfield. Keith Stokes, the man who single-handedly destroyed the Eskimos back in August with the punt returns, lets this one go through his hands, rolls in, becomes a foot race, and Roger Wrightson, number 31, like a heat-seeking missile, finds that football in the end zone.
Roger Wrightson, the 9-year veteran from Melville, Saskatchewan, scores his first ever Canadian Football League touchdown.
Might he keep that ball, Chris?
I would suggest he might even pay for a replacement. And now Fleming to punt. Bad gaff by Stokes, who almost single-handedly beat the Eskimos back in August. We're tied early in Edmonton. Well, an unusual opening 10 minutes. This is a look at the angle that Keith Stokes was viewing the football. We noticed Darren Hall misplayed a kickoff to start the game, and maybe those Alouettes, although it looks like a bit of a flat sky, are having trouble seeing the ball.
Well, you know, you can see he's got the eye black under there, those little eye patches, just to kind of cut out some of the reflection. I just think he misplayed the football. You can see right there, it kind of goes through the hands, almost like a basketball hoop, and then it becomes a race. And as we saw, Roger Wrightson recovering that for his first ever touchdown from the back of the end zone to tie this football.
And to make it even more impressive, Wrightson was the long snapper on the play. Got the ball back to Sean Fleming and then recovered it for the Eskimos. That kickoff goes out of bounds. The Eskimos will either redo it or they'll put the ball at the 45.
Now, we talked about some of the game notes. So in Montreal's case, they have to blow off the rust. They haven't played for 2 weeks. Trying to get back in the groove, get back in the league play. On defense, you got to shut down the electricity. The electricity is one John Avery. You've got to turn the lights on that guy or he'll hurt you. For Edmonton, the offensive key, I think the O-line, we talked about it already, has to have a big day. You've got to give Ray protection. You got to open some holes for Avery. And on defense, hey, it's simple. You got to jam the receivers. Mobile likes to run timing routes. You've got to get physical with those receivers and disrupt them.
Game notes brought to you by Canadian Tire. Let's get started.
So the Alouettes get started from their 45. Tie game. Keith Stokes was across the line of scrimmage before the snap of the ball. Has the catch, but it will be negated by the penalty. As he jumped the gun.
Well, he's kind of wondering why he got there so quick, and that might be one of the reasons. He did jump the gun. Nice job, though, of him getting out there and firing a hole in the zone, albeit for naught.
Offside, Montreal, number 6. First down repeated.
Of course, he's anxious to atone for that mistake, and it'll be backed up 5 yards. First and 15.
He just got crosses. You can see he's way ahead of everybody else. A little overeager.
Stokes, one of the players Don Matthews talked a great deal about yesterday, his ability to catch the short passes and turn them into long gains. Here's Calvillo in the flat. Bruno Appel with the catch, and he's a load to bring down the fullback.
Good job, AC.
And that's his first catch.
That's a nice job of protection right there, allowing him to check off, and that means he's looking at his third receiver already. He's trying to look down the center of the field. He tries to look left, and then his safety valve is Appel, and he throws it over there. Nice completion. The defender's playing a little off on him.
17 yards, Chris, a first down for the Alouettes. who sent 4 receivers to the right side, and then they throw the hitch. It's caught by Woodcock, and no, they're saying it did hit the ground, and the Canada native is going to dispute that call.
Well, I like what he's doing. Cavill right now trying to attack both sides of the football field. Just going to set out a little hitch pattern. Take a step toward the line of scrimmage, come back. And he feels he got his hands under there and cradled the football, but in between the hands where he caught the football, the ball actually made contact with the field.
What a terrific season, and he leads the CFL in average yards per catch, 24.5 yards every time he catches the football. Woodcock and Ben Cahoon, 2 Canadian receivers on pace for 1,000 yards. Calvillo draws the Eskimos offside. And play is halted.
Well, changing the cadence, another smart move by the wily veteran. Change the cadence, play a little game with the voice, fluctuate the snap count.
Offside, Edmonton, number 95, still second down.
Albert Reese in the middle of your screen. You're going to see he just comes across right over the center. The rest of the Eskimos follow. That's just the reaction. The body's all primed to go. But Albert Reese jumping the gun.
You just get the sense that even though not a lot's at stake here in the middle of October, that both teams are primed for this clash of first-place clubs. So it's 2nd and 5 now. And Calvillo in the flat. There's a catch by Haskins. And he'll be close to a first down.
Well, that's a nice job on the offensive line, because basically what they're doing is a spread offense. Everybody's out. There's nobody in the backfield. You can see everybody's just going outside. He's just sitting there. He's by himself. Now it becomes the O-line's job to allow him to find that open receiver. Does a nice job of tucking it underneath, getting the receiver's hands, and they're going to measure to see if we have a first down.
Looks like he is less than a yard short of the first down, at least from the marker on the far side of the field. Well, different when they brought the change from the near side, and it is going to be third, but just a link, a chain, or a link or two of the chain. There's Don Matthews, his first return to Edmonton since a dismissal from the Eskimos in the spring of last year.
His comment was priceless when they asked him about his feelings of coming back. He said, well,
his personal feelings.
That's right. He says, if you're going to ask me a personal question, if you're a friend, I'll tell you. He goes, and I look around this room, I have no friends, so therefore I won't tell you. You could have heard a pin drop after he said that.
Yes, Don Matthews had his game face on yesterday. You know his team would too today, and Calvillo sneaks for the necessary inches to move the sticks.
A nice job of tucking behind the big boys, Flory, and of course Neil Fort, 6'7", 350 listed pounds. It's a big man. I tell you what, if I'm going to run a sneak, I'm going behind the right side as well.
Neil Fort in a bit of a fracas a couple of weeks ago in practice. Don Matthews said that this team had fought less amongst themselves than any team he'd had, and he almost said that with disappointment. And you reiterated that it's not unusual for teams to scrap.
No, I think it's something. I think it's chemistry building.
I'm just glad we don't do it on this team. Lawrence Phillips with the carry. And both teams fired up to stuff the run. And there's Kelvin Powell, charged with the responsibility of replacing A.J. Gass.
One thing about Kelvin Powell, you see him in the middle. You know, he's playing replacing A.J. Gass, but he also had some playing time earlier when Terry Ray missed a couple of games with a bad ankle. So he's had some experience there. It's not like he's really technically a rookie getting his first start. He's played there, and that's one of the advantages. The big thing is he's got to fill some pretty big shoes.
He does. They had him making the defensive calls at one point of the year. He was so revved up, nobody understood what he was saying. So they have switched that duty to Terry Ray. 2nd down 7. Great protection for Calvillo, who throws it out of bounds down the far sidelines looking for Thomas Haskins.
That's a good offensive line. I think you're going to have to run some stunts, put some pressure on him, because this offensive line only giving up 15 sacks, number 2 in the CFL coming into this game. They do a real nice job of forming a pocket, allowing the time, just steps up, finds a nice throwing lane, just overthrows the intended receiver.
So Terry Baker comes on to attempt a 47-yard field goal.
Terry Baker, 3 for 5 last game against Toronto, but Chris 6 for 13 in his last 4 games, only kicking at about 47%.
And they fake it, and it's Ben Cahoon getting outside, down the sidelines to the 10-yard line.
Well, I guess your percentage in field goal kicking really has no factor when you're going to run a special teams fake.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, it was a fake punt. Bruno Appel took that a long way. This time, Ben Cahoon, and Don Matthews is the master of these trick
and
plays.
this is the key block right there. That guy, to get him out there, to allow Ben Cahoon to get to the outside, the wing guy on the outside position, that's Appel, 33, who does a wonderful job of allowing Cahoon to get to the outside, and once again, Matthews reaches into the old bag of tricks.
31 yards, and that kind of play indicates this isn't just a meaningless football game. They fake to Phillips. Calvillo on his own, following Phillips down to the 5, where he's drilled by the safety, Jackie Kellogg.
And I got to concur with you on that one. This is not just another game. I mean, I tell you what, I don't care what anybody says. You know, we talked to Coach Higgins yesterday. He says, you know what, it's not Coach Higgins playing Coach Matthews. But you know for sure that Don Matthews wants to win in his return visit. First time back in Edmonton. So you see Cavillo going outside, and it's interesting, the second leading rusher on the team is that man right there, AC.
Donnie Brady's been hurt. He has been shaken up in recent weeks with a pinched nerve in his neck and getting attention again as the Alouettes threaten here late in the opening quarter.
I heard some goalies talking about you, calling you a toothpick, a twig, flimsy, but after a quick meeting with Mr. Rister from Between the Circles, they're going to be swallowing more than words. So shh, be quiet. It's hat twig season, and we're hunting Stanley Cups.
Play NHL 2003. Rated E for everyone.
If it's in the game,
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Well, Donnie Brady continues to get attention down at the Eskimo 5-yard line, and now it looks like he's getting to his feet.
We can see Cavillo just going to cut it back inside now. 26, Brady's going to come back inside. Kellogg's going to wrap up. Play him right in the middle, bring him down.
He's been experienced the burners, and you could see again the neck was jarred on that tackle.
And it's because you're coming from the side, and we can see right there that's Anthony Cavillo putting some pressure on the throwing hand thumb. He took a shot, and that was Jackie Kellogg's helmet when he was holding the football that caused that infliction.
So Brady running off under his own power, and we'll see if the thumb affects the play of Anthony Calvillo. This is the 9th play of the drive. It's second down and goal from the 4 for the Alouettes. And here's a ball to Haskins, and he dropped it at the 1. Thomas Haskins dropped the football. It'll be third down.
Just a flat pattern. Just release him right to the flat, get the ball quickly. And from the trajectory and the force of that throw by AC, I don't think there is a problem. Just a nice job, nice delivery.
They're ruling it is a catch and a fumble. And that's the right call on that replay. Unfortunately for the Alouettes, they maintain possession at the 1.
That all comes about as you have to first off have possession. They ruled that Haskins did indeed have possession, took 2 steps, and then the ball came loose. So as you say, Chris, a good call.
They mark it closer to the 2, and it's third and goal, and the Alouettes going for it. Fans urging the defense. Lawrence Phillips, the ball carrier, touchdown Montreal. The first offensive touchdown of the game goes to the Alouettes.
Well, Lawrence Phillips, and he has a double rule of thumb right here. And what I mean by that is he can take it to the outside, or if he sees an opening, he will cut it back inside. So he's originally going to go to the outside. Nice job of creating a seam. Ends up coming back, as you see Jason Richards making a nice block. Check it, let that be Tim Fleiser. We got to give credit where credit is due.
Extra point added by Terry Baker. And the Alouettes, who used a fake field goal for a 31-yard Ben Cahoon romp to set up a touchdown by Lawrence Phillips, number 12 on the year for the Alouettes star running back.
It's a nice job at the point of attack. OKK, Fleiser coming into the tight end position. And all Lawrence Phillips is going to look. And if they hook him, he's going to take it to the outside. If they block him out, he's going to take it up the seam. And he does that time, finds a little seam. And when you're as powerful and as quick, and we talked yesterday, Don Matthews mentioned one of the biggest things was the power, speed, but his ability to make cuts on a football field. We just saw an example of that right there as he cut it through the opening and took it across the goal line.
You mentioned the bursa sack injury that Phillips has suffered. Did not get it drained, and it's taken a few weeks for the knee to be okayed for play again. He even had to keep it elevated during the flight here.
Well, the flight over, they had it raised on the chair ahead of him so the fluid wouldn't drain into the lower portion of his foot.
But no structural damage. And Phillips has been in fine form in this first quarter. Here's Singer Mobley running the kickoff back, but great downfield coverage. Anwar Stewart, who is replacing Reggie Lowe as a defensive end, making the tackle on the final play of the opening quarter here at Commonwealth Stadium. And the Eastern Division champions in 2002 have a one-touchdown lead over the Western leaders.
CFL on CBC, brought to you by Dodge. Grab life by the horns.
As we begin the second quarter here at Commonwealth Stadium, the Owls in front by a touchdown. This has to be a concern for the Eskimos. John Avery is on the bench, and he is favoring his right hand. The Eskimos training staff looking at it right now. Chris?
That certainly is cause for concern. John Avery, they believe, an unprecedented 4 consecutive 150-yard plus games on the ground for the Eskimos, as he has been the most electrifying runner in the Canadian Football League this season.
As we take a look at the first quarter stats, we can see time of possession favoring the Alouettes, as the score is 4 first downs to 2. Very even. Little edge to Alouettes and net yards with 74, and both with a turnover.
And an edge to the defenses so far. Biggest play came on the fake field goal. The run by Ben Cahoon. Now Jason Tucker trying to get outside, and he's brought down by Reggie Durden.
Well, the biggest thing that we see right now early on in this football game, Chris, is the team speed, and we heard that yesterday. It was brought up time and time again. Coach Matthews has coached many a fine defense in his time. He feels this is the best team speed he's ever had on defense, and he feels that it's the #1 defense in the CFL for that reason.
Some people said it might be Saskatchewan. And remember talking to Danny Barrett, and he said, yes, we've got great team speed. I think Montreal is pretty fast, too. And so there's no debate that the Alouettes are up there in that department. Very stingy on defense. And now Ricky Ray looking at 2nd and 12, under pressure, and down he goes. Aries Monroe with the sack, and it was a problem in the first meeting of the year, and it remains trouble for the Eskimos, giving Ricky Ray protection.
Well, take a look. They got too many guys. It's a simple stereo of just a base. I'm going to bring 9. You've only got 7 if you keep both backs in. I'm going to have 2 guys free. That time, Ricky Ray, to his credit, tried to find some room, but Aries Monroe finally just trapping him up and taking him down for a sack.
So Fleming gets set to punt the ball away to Keith Stokes. Stokes backpedaling to his 44. And once again, the Eskimos punt coverage impeccable. 7 yards on the return after a 52-yard Fleming boot. Sheldon Benoit, former Alouette, one of the contingent downfield quickly.
Nice job again down there as we take a look at ACM. See what he has to say about playing.
Well, he is the catalyst of multi-dimensional Alouette offense, Anthony Calvillo.
I think we've been doing a pretty good job of that throughout the entire year. You know, the backs get the ball about 15 to 18 times, which is required by Coach Don Matthews. And they're going to get their yards. But I think this year we're just opening up the run with the pass. And it's been successful for us.
Here's Calvillo trying to pass the football to Pat Woodcock, incomplete. He has passed Sam Echeverry for the most completions in one Alouette season with 4 completions.
One of the things I really liked about the fact that last clip we heard from AC, he says, you know, we are required. These are plays, the running plays are required. You know that Anthony Calvillo would love to throw that ball, air it out every time.
Yes, Don Matthews allows his quarterbacks to make the calls, but
there are some required.
Yes, there are requirements to be followed. He has fulfilled the expectations to a T this year. 2nd and 10, and an open receiver. That's Jermaine Copeland with the catch, trying to lunge for the first down, and he'll be close.
Well, great job of the offensive line, allowing time for Anthony Calvillo to find the open receiver. Copeland just sitting back in, but they're going to bring the blitz. He's going to come from over here, and he gets picked up. Nice job of the offensive guard, left root, sliding out, picking him up. That gives Calvillo all the time he needs to sit back there, wait for the play to develop. As a result, he finds Copeland sitting nice in the zone, finds a hole. Nice job of completing the pass. And after this measurement, just a bit short.
So it'll be 3rd down and inches. You know, we've talked about this, perhaps a Grey Cup preview, but it has been only 3 times since 1985 that the Grey Cup has featured the division winners from East and West.
Well, you know, there's so many factors in a long season. There's injuries, teams that peak at the right time, and that's what's happened the last couple of years with Calgary and BC.
Alouettes have already gambled 3 times on 3rd down in this game and have been successful. And Calvillo plunges ahead for yet another Montreal first down.
Another big man, 6'2", the second leading rusher. I love saying that. You don't usually see that from a quarterback, especially when he's not really known as a runner. Just goes to the left, tucks behind, turns around, actually trips over OKK's feet, but nobody there. The offensive line did such a great job of pinning everybody inside. He allowed AC just to fall unharmed for the first down.
He went through a stretch of 3 games where he was hobbled by a hamstring injury. He has declared himself 100% and now rolls to the right side, looks downfield, and there is Woodcock with a catch. And boy, Pat Woodcock has impressed everybody this season.
What a nice job of concentration on this football. To turn around, turn his body as the ball is being delivered. Great play action fakes, allows Calvillo to get to the outside. Turns his body right around, drags his feet, stays in bound, makes the catch against a very good cover man and Malcolm Frank.
2 years ago, the Alouettes had Ben Cahoon and Jock Climby, 2 Canadians that were 1,000-yard receivers, and Woodcock and Cahoon both over 800 yards this season, so they have a shot at that distinction again. First down, Calvillo in the flat. It's Woodcock working against Malcolm Frank, and the Canada native is able to reach his way to the stick again for a first down.
Nice job of changing it around, finding another opening. You know, we saw the last time at the wideout position. He's just going to slide in from the wideout, come inside, back out toward the sideline, sit down. A nice job again of getting time for that offensive line, which starts the whole play off correctly. And then AC finds him right there. Nice throw, nice catch, and they keep moving the chains.
Down to the 19 of the Eskimos. First down, Alouettes. 3 receivers left. Calvillo looked that way, and it's nearly picked off. Intended for Jermaine Copeland, and Shannon Garrett got a hand on the ball.
No, Shannon Garrett almost came up with an interception, but Edmonton comes with good pressure this time. They put some pressure on him. That's one of the things. You see Terry Ray coming from the outside, pressure from the inside. Mobley, 27. That's what you got to do. You cannot let a guy like Calvillo get any kind of comfort zone back there. Don't let him get into a rhythm. You got to disrupt him.
And upon further review, Garrett may have been able to come up with that catch. Instead, the 7th play of the drive for the Alouettes. 2nd and 10. Calvillo in the flat, Lawrence Phillips. And he's brought down at the 8-yard line. Another Montreal first down.
Well, newcomer Dale Crutchfield getting in the lineup today. He's going to come in as a nickel back, an extra DB. He recognizes he's going to slide it out. Lawrence Phillips is coming in your living room, just going to slide out to the right side. Now watch for. He misjudges totally. Lawrence Phillips slides on the grass as a result allows Lawrence Phillips to get to the outside and pick up some more yardage.
So back-to-back drives of 10 plays or more, and now they're calling for the training staff because Lawrence Phillips has put a knee down. We talked to Don Matthews yesterday. He said, I don't know how long we'll go with Phillips and whether or not he will play every game prior to the Eastern Final. And there's no indication whether this is the knee again or not.
Well, they're definitely looking at the, you can't tell if it is a knee or the hand. This is the knee, definitely, that's been causing him all the problems right there. The left knee with the bursitis sac inflammation. But it looks to me like they're working on the wrist.
Right. And again, John Avery has suffered a hand injury today, and now they're checking the hand of Lawrence Phillips, who just got that ball cradled back into the body.
And he may have caused the problem as he actually just fell on the football with his hand underneath it.
Eskimos backup Jason Moss staying loose on the sidelines as he does throughout most games, and Lawrence Phillips on the far sidelines also having trouble with the footing, and we're told that he has been given a different pair of cleats now as he adjusts to the Commonwealth Stadium turf. And there's Calvillo throwing that through the end zone. Was looking for Copeland.
Well, basically all they're going to do, Chris, is they're just going to increase the depth of his spikes. You've got 3/4 inch, you've got 1 1/4. I know there's a league limit, but you can go a little far. And when you're in the grass sometimes, and as you're doing a lot of cut, you can see there's his shoes on the bench right now. And you can see right here, see the lowness right here? And look at the difference right there. You can see the height right there. And that allows him to dig deeper into the grass and make better cuts.
John Avery had to change his footwear partway through the year and has gone to the 3/4 inch cleats on the home turf. Second down, Calvillo looking to the corner, incomplete. Intended for Ben Cahoon.
Intended for Ben Cahoon, but again, Donnie Brady, nice coverage, right in the hip pocket, right there where he needs to be, making any kind of contact just to disallow Ben Cahoon, who has probably got one of the best set of sure hands in this football league. Nice job, just to interfere with enough.
So they faked the last time they set up in field goal formation, but this likely an automatic for Baker from the 15. That fake came on what would have been a 47-yard field goal. Baker's longest of the year, just 43. And that automatic as the Alouettes extend their lead. A 10-point advantage here with just under 9 minutes to go in the first half from Edmonton.
Next Saturday, the CFL on CBC. Damon Allen in Regina, leading the Lions against the Rough Riders. Here in Edmonton, changes for the Eskimos, Chris.
Yes, Jason Moss is in at quarterback, and John Avery back in the offensive set, and Moss's first pass falls incomplete. Tom Higgins told us that if his team needed a change in tempo, that he would go to the other guy, and he has not waited very long to do it.
Got a great
today.
1-2 punch with these two guys. I think it's really smart. What you do, just get Ricky Ray to relax a little bit, bring him on a sideline, get him on a headset, let him talk to the offense coordinator. Let's see what's going on. Sometimes you got a better view from the outside looking in a little bit than being under fire. Then he can go back and make the adjustments when he comes back on the football field.
2nd and 10 for Moss. And the play doesn't get off. Early movement.
There's Monroe with the offside. Getting a chance to play. They dressed 8 defensive linemen.
I don't remember the last time I've seen that happen.
Offside, Montreal, 55, still 2nd down.
Monroe, Richards, Belly, and Weiser backing up the front four of Megna Filion, Rob Brown, and Anwar Stewart. So the offside against the Alouettes moves the ball to the 40, and it will be 2nd and 5. Here comes the blitz, and a little seam pass is complete. And Jason Tucker has the first down. The ball came loose after the whistle.
Well, if you're going to bring the blitz, sometimes you're going to get burned by it. That's a nice job by the O-line picking it up, and an even nicer job by Moss to get rid of the football before the pressure can actually get to him. You see it? It's working in duo and tandem with your receiver. The receiver's got to see that. He's got to make the necessary route adjustment and change it, come inside, because he knows he can't run his full pattern because he doesn't have enough time.
Jason Tucker approaching 1,000 yards, and what a nice compliment he's been to the speedy Ed Hervey on the other side. And he's been a favored target in recent weeks with Terry Vaughn seeing double coverage. And again, they don't get the play off. And was that early movement by the Eskimos this time?
I think it's a time count on that one, absolutely. And that was just basically, you got to give that one to the Montreal defense.
Violation, Edmonton, number 12. Still first down.
The Montreal defense caused that by moving around, bringing guys up, shift them around, changing the calls of the offensive line and the blocking backs. As a result, the quarterback's got to hold back. He's got to wait till they get their signals and their calls. As a result, they run out of time.
Danny Macchiocia, who was the offensive coordinator last year for Montreal, now calling in the plays for the Eskimos. And now Moss looks at 1st and 15.
Ball!
A lot of time, and now throws a strike up at midfield. And Terry Vaughn has a catch. He'll be about a yard short of the first down.
Oh, what a tough guy Jason Moss is. He stands in there to the very last second. They're only going to rush 3. They're going to line up. They drop the rest of the guys down. Now he sits down. Now he sees the pressure still coming. There's Philly on 75 coming at him, but still maintains searching the football field, trying to find one open receiver, and does it successfully on that play.
Terry Vaughn with 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Very quiet, though, in the last couple of weeks, Chris. Just 4 catches, 38 yards in the last 2 Edmonton wins.
Well, as you mentioned, I think the guy that they've really started to look at is Jason Tucker, who's got 5 touchdowns in the last 2 football games.
You saw Moss sneaking ahead for the first down. Terry Vaughn, one of the best weapons and most consistent in the Canadian Football League.
Oh, you just have to take a look. I mean, a picture's worth 1,000 words right there. Look at that. Thousands. You know, that reminds me of your paycheck. Only that would have to have per minute.
Looks like the Alouettes were caught in that restraining area. Offside, Moss. Free play, Terry Vaughn, wide open. Vaughn down to the 10. Touchdown. 53 yards. A touchdown strike from Jason Moss to Terry Vaughn.
And Jason Moss does a wonderful job. He knows he's got Montreal, a free play. Filion jumps offside. Jason Moss doesn't stop. All the defenders, the coverage people downfield stop. The only 2 people not stopping are Terry Vaughn and Jason Moss. They get the ball hooked up. Now he jumps offside. Now they kind of stop. He sits down. He knows he's got a free throw. Takes it up. It's a nice job, as you say, of Terry Vaughn, who you say has been quiet until now, finding the opening right there, and then it becomes a foot race, and he beats everybody diving into the end zone.
Just his 2nd touchdown in the last 7 games. Fleming adds the extra point, 9th TD on the season. So Edmonton bouncing back with their first offensive touchdown of the day.
Good job, boy.
Stretch everybody. I know. I know. We got that damn play off. Oh, I know.
Well, they're talking about everybody's so worried about Avery. Look at all the guys in the box right here. That's everybody's right there. That's the problem right there. You're trying to take away Avery. As a result, they don't get across, but I mean, it's aided by an offside. And Moss with the presence of mind to keep working, finding Terry Vaughn for the big touchdown.
Here's Darren Hall, the former Edmonton Eskimo, faking the reverse, losing his footing, and down at the 17-yard line. Alouettes with the lead, but Terry Vaughn has given the Eskimos momentum with his biggest catch of the year, a 53-yard touchdown. And it was interesting to listen to John Avery saying, if they're going to stack up the middle and stop me, somebody's got to pay. And Terry Vaughn made the Alouettes pay.
Well, that's it. We talked about the fact. You see Philly on jumping. They're bringing the blitz. There's Johnson coming through. There's Strickland coming through. They're trying to get to Avery. They're so concerned with putting pressure on Moss and watching number 20, Avery, that they're forgetting everything. But the whole play on that play, there was the benefit, was the smartness, the presence of Moss, knowing he had a free play, and, of course, the work ethic of that man right there, Terry Vaughn.
5:10 to go, first half. At Commonwealth Stadium, Alouettes with the lead. And Montreal unable to get the play away in 20 seconds.
Time count violation. Montreal, number 13, still first down.
Well, nice job of the defense doing the same thing, giving them a little taste of what their own defense does. Moving around.
Here's the thing. We'll go back to that. If you see 6 in the box, we can't get that thing out. Call John back in. All right? And have it done right now. We can have it 66.
Chiocha working the sidelines and the offense as they tweak their attack. Here's a nice completion as Calvillo spots Cahoon.
Well, Cahoon is going to be working against Donnie Brady, who had great coverage defending that touchdown attempt earlier in the quarter. Not so successful this time. Just going to sit back, deep drop, take a look, throw it over there, one-on-one, just comes back inside, gets a little separation from Donnie Brady, and comes up with a nice catch.
21 yards for Cahoon, his first catch of the game. Chris, he's 4th in the league, 63 catches, 869 yards. And a big reason he's enjoyed such a fine season is Don Matthews moving him inside from wide out, his position through his first 4 CFL years. First down, and Calvillo on the bootleg. And he slides feet first at the 37-yard line. Gain of 4, and we're going to join Steve Armitage.
Chris, coming up at halftime today, we'll put Mr. Walby to work with pro tips. Jason Moss will demonstrate the 3-step drop, and we'll meet the Eskimos' Terry Vaughn in our featured Canadian football heroes. That is very timely, is it not?
It certainly is. And how did Walby know that Jason Moss was coming into this game?
Well, you know what? The nicest thing about that? I've got a 6:49 ticket at home, and I'm hoping that still carries over.
We got the one that might get you to the Grey Cup game for halftime. Now there's a penalty on the play to Terry Ray, who got tangled up with Bruno Appel on the opposite side of the field.
Well, there's been some extracurricular activities going away from the football going on. A lot of guys being tossed to the ground, and that was another indication of it right there. Terry Ray getting involved with Appel. And again, another indication that this just is not a meaningless football game.
So the ball moved up to the 51. Calvillo over the middle. He has a completion. And Keith Stokes, the speedster's down to the 35.
Well, Keith Stokes, they say he's a running back learning to play receiver. Does a nice job of finding the opening and dragging across the middle. And they say the biggest thing about Keith Stokes is the yak yards. And we've talked about that before. That's the yard after catch. What he does after he catches the football. When he got this kind of speed, that's great separation. He works in front, finds an opening in front of the safety, Jackie Kellogg, turns it up, picks up some additional yardage.
22 yards for Stokes. Another Alouette first down. Just over 3 minutes to play. In an entertaining first half as Calvillo looks deep, looks for Stokes, and overthrows the slot back.
Well, I tell you what, that is the match he had. He wanted to take advantage of Mobley, and he had him there. Just unfortunately overthrown. Keith Stokes can't come up with the catch.
.259 remaining first half. Alouettes trying to extend their 3-point lead here as they threaten, and the Argos pull out an overtime win on the Prefontaine single in overtime. But because Hamilton salvaged an overtime point, they continue to lead the Argos by 1 in the Eastern's Race for second. Here's Copeland throwing downfield. Darren Hall, touchdown! Montreal with their second trick play of the game.
Well, I tell you what, you do these things in practice, you play with these things, and you never know if you're ever going to use them. But every once in a while, when you have a game like this, where Don Matthews says we can explore our whole playbook, they pull something like this out. Second, as you call it, trick play, but what a job. A nice job of getting that ball out quickly to Copeland. What an arm on the young man to get it downfield to Darren Hall.
And the Alouette sprint team in high gear.
It's a nice job to get him outside. Great block, allowing him just to have that extra second to throw the football, but nice throw. Right over the outstretched hands. Pretty good coverage by Shannon Garrett, but nice throw by Copeland.
On the money. Baker adds the extra point. And Montreal restores a 10-point lead. And it's not just Calvillo who could throw touchdown strikes.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by GMC Sierra.
For Anthony Calvillo's job, a 36-yard touchdown pass from Jermaine Copeland to the former Eskimo Darren Hall, as the Alouette bench savors that play.
Well, Haskins, that's the big block right there. Coming back on the safety, Jackie Kellogg, allowing Copeland to get to the outside to throw that football. That's the key play. You talk about the things that make a play work, that's one of them right there. As a result, Copeland has the time. Nice throw, as you say, right over the outstretched coverage. A good coverage by Shannon Garrett, and Darren Hall, the recipient of a nice touchdown.
So this is what Don Matthews meant when he said this is a fun football game to play.
If this is what he meant, then he's 100% correct.
Thanks, AC, for letting me throw, ball.
Since Montreal has clinched first, the 8th division title of Don Matthews' CFL career. Singer Mobley. Up across the 40-yard line before he's dragged down by Aries Monroe, a 28-yard return. Mobley seeing action as a returner, with Winston October left off the playing roster for this game.
A nice job of reading the block, coming inside now. He's got that ball out there, and you can see 55. Aries Monroe really trying to reach in there and strip that football, trying to create a turnover, put that offense back on the field again.
Jason Moss back for his second series of the game after engineering a touchdown march. Remember, he came in the third quarter 2 weeks ago against Hamilton. And the pitch pass to John Avery up to the 49-yard line. Reggie Durden the tackle, and the running game was not established, so they're trying to use Avery in another way.
He's a weapon. Get on the ball any way you can. If he's not going to work carrying the football, put it out there in a throw. As he runs away from Kevin Johnson, who I think he's got a little bone to grind with anyway, who said today, or this week actually, that all of Montreal's running backs are better than John Avery. I thought that was kind of a bold statement to make.
Yes, especially about the guy who, in reference to the CFL rushing leader, who really wasn't a factor in the first 4 games of the season. Second and 4, and Ed Hervey, first touch of the ball, and he has great wheels, and he could go. Ed Hervey down the sidelines, and a big saving tackle by Reggie Durden.
Once again, Montreal's going to gamble on defense, and again, Jason Moss is going to burn them. You're going to bring too many guys. The whole presence of blitzing the quarterback, you're going to see everybody coming. Look, they're bringing everybody. As you better get to the quarterback before he throws the football. They don't. He slides it off into a screen, and as you say, Hervey, with the speed, does the rest. Tracked down finally by Reggie Durden, but not before he takes it down inside the Montreal 20.
Big block by Dan Komisky to help spring Hervey. It's a 45-yard gain, first down, Avery. And John Avery gets loose, and look at him drive. Another first down, Avery's best run of the game.
But see, big plays build momentum, and they get everybody excited, and that's what you got. You got 2 great football teams right now playing this game. Both of them trying to do whatever it takes to win this football game. Yeah, Montreal's talking about having fun. Well, I'll tell you right now, Edmonton's having fun when they're doing stuff like this. John Avery getting down, actually getting dragged down by the back of the helmet by Perry Carter right there. Lucky not to get a penalty for that.
Avery with his biggest run, a first down for the Eskimos at the 5, first and goal. Back to Avery. John Avery, touchdown! So Phillips has one, and now John Avery answers with one as these two heavyweight teams go toe-to-toe.
Well, the two former teammates with Miami in '97, they're gonna try and outdo each other today. But again, the second carry in a row. Look at the eyesight, sliding through just the smallest of cracks of offensive line blockage right there. Find the hole, drive it toward that end zone. We have got a good football game going here today.
Well, we don't know if this is a Grey Cup preview, but we do know it would be a heck of a matchup if they want to come back and do it again in late November. 1:56 left in this first half.
On November 1st, Agent Alex Scott will be given his most dangerous assignment yet.
You're working with a civilian. America needs me.
Columbia Pictures presents Eddie Murphy, Owen Wilson.
Put that on. This look like a sock. It's a spy mask. Hey, man, this is a sock. Oh, wow, that's pretty good.
I Spy.
You mean like 007?
Except only I'm going to be 009 and a half.
In theaters everywhere November 1st.
John Avery is 8 on the ground. And Jason Moss has engineered 2 touchdown marches to answer Alouette touchdowns.
Well, what he's done, he's really burned Montreal on the blitz, and so when he takes Montreal to the blitz package, it becomes a simple football game of getting a helmet on a helmet, and they won that war right there. Just a dive play to the left side. He does a nice job of accelerating through the hole, slides his body almost sideways through it, and busts into the end zone. But again, if you can make a defense, remember one of the things that Matthew said, we are an aggressive defense, we're an aggressive offense, we will never sit back, we'll come after you. Well, sometimes when you come after you, the big boys are going to make you pay.
Here's Darren Hall, and he runs out of real estate at the Montreal 25-yard line. Let's take another look at how the Eskimos mounted this march.
Well, we talked about the pressure. Montreal coming after him. He does a nice job, Moss, of just slipping the ball over the pressure. Give it to Herbie, and then this man, John Avery, does the rest. Nice first down run, and finishes it off with a nice 5-yarder. Does score and put Edmonton right back in this football game.
When they bring the fullback in there, they're bringing 2 extra guys in. You know what I mean? So we stay in there wide out. That's all I need.
What he's talking about right there is when they bring the fullback in, 2 more linebackers are coming in the box. If the fullback's not in there, he has an ability to take them out, and he has more room to run.
Let's see what Calvillo can do in the final 2 minutes. Thomas Haskins ducked under a couple of tacklers and gets a few more yards.
Going back to that John Avery statement, you may see him be the only back in the backfield.
Yes, they thought that bringing the big fullback Wendell Davis might help spring John Avery this afternoon, but it's worked out the other way.
Well, when you bring the fullback in, it just brings another guy who's responsible for the fullback will come in that box. And in this case, Montreal likes to bring 2.
2nd and 6. Alouettes, Calvillo with time, and passing behind Darren Hall, incomplete.
Great coverage downfield by the secondary and linebackers who dropped on that play by the Eskimos, not allowing Calvillo to find anything open. You can see Danny Kepley there. This guy, what a fireball. Fireball when he played, a fireball when he's coaching. First one out in the field to congratulate everybody comes off.
Especially when the Eskimos are playing the Montreal Alouettes. This feels like the 70s all over again when those two teams went toe-to-toe in some memorable Grey Cups. This, of course, the 25th anniversary of the Alouettes' last championship, the Ice Bowl game at Olympic Stadium that Mr. Kepley doesn't like us talking about. Jason Tucker back with 80 seconds left on the clock, so the Alouettes have some time and put some pressure on Baker. Tucker at his 35. And good coverage downfield limits the return to 5 yards. Patrick Dorbelis, a Montreal native, led the surge downfield as we join Steve.
Chris, lest we forget, the Grey Cup game is slated for this stadium at the end of November. And if you'd like tickets, this is the number to call. I talked to Hugh Campbell of the Eskimos just before game time. He said they've got 4,000 tickets left. 200 of those tickets are singles in the lower bowl, but they are going fast. So if you want a ticket to the Grey Cup game here in Edmonton, order now.
Well, the Grey Cup assured, and now Jason Tucker getting attention. Is that the hamstring? And another example of the slippery turf.
Slippery turf, as he extends that leg, sometimes you'll pop it. And I think it's a slight pop right now, but you can see the trainer was down there basically massaging the back. As he grabs it right there.
He really has become a huge part of this Eskimo offense. 900 yards receiving. And he had a 42-yard touchdown the last time these two teams met. A little frustrated because he knows that this might hamper the rest of his day and maybe more.
Yeah, I don't like the way he's walking off right now with that hand grabbing it right there. You know, they can ill afford to lose him, and the biggest thing is they're not going to ever force a guy like this back in the lineup for the sake of one game. They're looking down the line right now, trying to get him healthy.
So Jason Moss with 70 seconds left to try and erase a 3-point Montreal lead before halftime. Look out! Moss gets it away. Incomplete, but he was drilled as he threw the football, and Baron Miles came on the halfback blitz.
One more guy that you can pick up. One guy's going to come free. Now it becomes a question mark. Do I get to him? He's just going to come from the outside right now. And as a result, Jason Moss, it's a question mark. Who gets off? Do I get the quarterback or do he throw the ball? Just gets it away before he gets leveled by Baron Miles and almost completes it downfield.
Baron Miles will share duties today with Mark Washington. They will each get a half at defensive back as Don Matthews has created some competition within the ranks in these last few weeks. Moss flush, and off he goes. First down, out of bounds at the 53.
Jason Moss does just a wonderful job of getting out there, not forcing the situation. Realized he couldn't get rid of the football downfield, gets to the outside, and it turns into a foot race. And number 12 shows us some pretty good footwork getting to the outside here.
Chris,
running away from Belly.
He's so hungry to get back in the lineup. Ricky Ray took his job. When he came in relief and won the game in Hamilton, he called it the most satisfying win of his Eskimo career.
Well, remember, here's a guy that was starting all the time, and all of a sudden you just don't feel like you're part of the team anymore. You know, the accolades and everything is going to Ricky Ray, but you know what? He's a very important piece of the machinery of this Edmonton offense.
First down, Avery. Short yardage. Well, he was knocked out of the starting position because of a shoulder injury, and then when that healed, an old back problem re-emerged, and by that point Ricky Ray had taken firm control of the throttle in Edmonton.
Well, you know, it never helps you cause when the guy coming in to fill in for you when you're hurt throws 4 touchdowns in his first game as a starter. It's kind of hard to come back and get him out of that lineup again, but you know what, they've got a great working relationship. They realize they both get the job done, and I tell you what, you always want to have a 1-2 punch going into the playoffs.
Clock running, 35 seconds to go. Second down. Moss with all kinds of time. Hervey made the catch, but he was out of bounds. Baron Miles was closing quickly, and it'll be third down.
Well, Montreal trying to change it up, only bringing 3 linemen, trying to rush the quarterback. As a result, great protection from the offensive line, allowing Jason Moss to have all day to throw that football. He goes deep, far side of the football field, but just out of bounds to Ed Hervey.
So Sean Fleming. It's a punt with Keith Stokes back. And again, the Eskimos' punt coverage has been vastly improved today after being shredded by Keith Stokes back in August. What a punt. Driving Stokes into the end zone. Will Stokes get out? He got a block. And he will not only get out, he'll get more. But a flag is down. And that will spoil the best return of the afternoon by Stokes. 55-yard punt by Fleming. And Jason Tucker getting a hit start to the Eskimo room.
Now they're going to call a legal block by the punt return team, negating that return by Keith Stokes.
Legal block, Montreal number 9, decline. Holding, Montreal number 33.
Well, let's take a look at what Stokes did the last time these two teams met. 224 punt return yards. He was just short of Gizmo Williams' CFL record. An 80-yard scamper and an 89-yard touchdown romp in that game at Molson Stadium. After the penalties, they will place the ball at the 5, and with 9 seconds remaining, the Alouettes will just run the clock out.
On the right side, you can see him right there. He ends up on the ground, and else from behind, you can see number 9, Wayne Shaw, the guilty party. Nice job of the referee. The linesman right there throwing the flag.
So we've had a defensive touchdown, a special teams touchdown, some outstanding offensive plays, and 2 first-place teams just trading bombs here in the first half.
You know, it's interesting because at halftime, you try and pick up a couple highlights. What are you going to? Well, we got a hatful.
We just may have a full segment, and we'll go down and join Steve Armitage.
Thank you, Chris. Don Matthews, you promised us a fun game yesterday, but you had to dig deep into your bag of tricks to make it fun.
Well, this is how we play. We're an aggressive football team, and when we find something we think we can work, we're going to exploit it. We messed up on one of our zero blitzes. We had a guy that jumped offside, and everybody stopped playing. All of a sudden, they get a big touchdown. So we got to regroup and come out and play better in the second half.
But I get a feeling that won't stop you being aggressive on defense in the second half.
No, we plan to go play 60 minutes, absolutely.
Don, good luck in the second half.
Thanks a lot.
Don Matthews and the Alouettes head to the dressing room here at Commonwealth Stadium with a 3-point lead over the Eskimos. Well, if this is a preview of November's Grey Cup, bring on the Grey Cup. Montreal leading the Eskimos by a field goal. Well, it wasn't so long ago that Terry Vaughan was considered the enemy in this part of Alberta when he was playing for the Calgary Stampeders. But very quickly, Terry Vaughan has become a fan favorite and is a big part of this Edmonton Eskimos offense.
Canadian Football Heroes. Brought to you by Standard Life.
In a city that has seen some legendary receivers wear the green and gold, Terry Vaughan has quickly become the go-to receiver for the Eskimos' pass offense in pressure situations.
No one can put more pressure on me than me. You know, when I go out and play, and I know there is a play that needs to be made, you know, I believe I have to make that play.
Terry Vaughan, touchdown!
A coach telling me, oh, you need to do this, or anyone else telling me that, it doesn't carry much weight with me, because I know what I'm capable of and I know what I can do.
Look at him duck one tackle, spin off another.
I think I'm one of the leaders. You know, I talk a little bit in the huddle, trying to get guys into it, focused, or whatever it might be. I like to have fun. I like to joke around, and that's me. But I lead by more example on the field, than by what I say.
There's the record. Terry Vaughan over 1,000 yards for the 8th consecutive season.
And with those numbers, Vaughan joins the elite of CFL receivers like Calgary's Alan Pitts, Saskatchewan's one-time Mr. Clutch, Donald Narcisse, and Hamilton's Mr. Reliable, Darren Flutie. The keys to success for Vaughan: talent and durability.
I do take care of my body, and I think that has a whole lot to do with it. But at the same time, through my football career, I've been groomed as a running back. Most receivers are not accustomed to taking those hits day in, day out, game in, game out. I am, because I played the running back position and played it at a high level.
Bond took the hit, still made the catch. This guy is something else.
There's a saying in football, try to be the hammer, not the nail. And when I'm going to get hit, I'm trying to be the hammer more often than the nail.
Well, so far in this one, Vaughn has 2 catches for 67 yards and a big touchdown for the Eskimos. October the 20th will be a very special day at Toronto's Skydome. That's the day when the Argos, the CFL, and sports fans everywhere will honor the great Muhammad Ali and help in the fight against Parkinson's disease.
On October 20th, Muhammad Ali brings his most important fight to Skydome for the benefit of Parkinson's research.
This really is going to be an epidemic. It's been estimated that by the year 2040, neurodegenerative diseases are going to surpass cancer as the second leading cause of death.
Canadian research is at the forefront of the effort that's closing in on the cure for Parkinson's disease. We need your help now.
There really is a bit of a crisis looming in these neurodegenerative disorders in terms of getting proper care for people over the next 20 years. That's why it's so important not only to improve our capacity for treating the illnesses, but most importantly to get to the root causes of them and prevent them if we can.
Call 1-866-565-4Ali and help fight for the cure.
I'll do what I say.
Walby, brought to you by Dodge. Grab life by the horns.
Welcome to Pro Tips. You know, to play quarterback in the CFL, forget that, to play quarterback in any league. You know what you need? You need a quick mind and you need quick feet. With us today, star quarterback Jason Moss of the Edmonton Eskimos to teach us proper drop back pass technique.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, guys, we're doing a 3-step drop. First things first, you got to keep your eyes focused downfield so you can read the defense. Secondly, you got to get in a good athletic position, feet shoulder width apart. First step is a punch step with your left foot. You take that step. Your second step is a reach step to get away from the line of scrimmage. Second step is a gather step. Third step is a plant and throw, all in one motion. So let's try it. On go. Go.
Hey, I'll tell you what, great tip, Jason. I don't know, maybe it comebacks in the future, new position, a lot of money, all the girls. I know, forget it. Anyway, great tip. See you next time.
Pro Tips with Chris Walby. Brought to you by Dodge. Grab life by the horns.
How old am I? Well, when I was playing the game, it was a 7-step drop. Thanks to the Edmonton Chargers for helping Jason and Chris out on that one. We've got a good one going here in Edmonton. It's the Alouettes in front of the Eskimos by 3, 24-21. Earlier today at Ivor Wynne Stadium, a big game for the Ticats and Argos. And a magic moment for Darren Flutie right there. He moves ahead of Alan Pitts in the all-time reception category with 967 passes. Now this one goes into overtime. The Argos needing something to stay alive in the hunt for second place in the East. Prefontaine with the punt. Now watch the reception. Watch the Ticat back up, out of bounds. It is ruled as a point. Toronto win it in OT by a point, 29-28. Entertainment there, entertainment here, and with their thoughts on this first half, let's go up and join Chris and Chris.
So I don't know if we should talk about the first half or that last 3-step drop. Boy, quick feet. But Jason Moss, his insertion in this game turns out to be one of the headline stories of the first half.
Well, I think it's just a question of a veteran being able to see the football field better than a rookie.
Well, it was a Thanksgiving cornucopia of highlights in that first half. Take us through them.
Well, I tell you what, there was trickery, there was everything, but it was definitely a first half of big plays. And it started off like this, just a big fake field goal. Ben Cahoon gets outside, nice block by Happel, takes it all the way down. That led to a touchdown.
And here's Moss coming into the game, stepping up and finding Terry Vaughn.
And the big play part about that play was that Montreal jumped offside. They relaxed. They quit. Terry Vaughn, Jason Moss didn't. And end result, touchdown by that man, Terry Vaughn. And, of course, that trick play at the end of the game. Nice job just getting outside. Nice throw by Jermaine Copeland right over the shoulder of Shannon Garrett, right to Darren Hall. And, again, we've seen everything.
Yes, we saw a defensive touchdown by Kevin Johnson, and we also had a botched punt return by the Alouettes turned into a touchdown. There are the stats of the first half.
Well, take a look at it. I mean, obviously 17 minutes favoring the Alouettes. But I tell you what, what's happening right now, and I see is since that Jason Moss has entered the football game, this is a re-energized Edmonton Eskimo offense. So I look for some big things and a lot more excitement. Who knows, maybe more trick plays in the second half.
And maybe more of Walby with the three-step drop. Jason Moss coming off the bench in a tight ball game. There it is at the half, 24-21, Montreal.
It was a half of big plays, Tom Higgins. Did you think it would be those?
You know, you never really know what they're going to be, but we knew that big plays would be made. On their first one, we just missed a protection, and our quarterback felt pretty confident that his back was covered. But that's going to happen. Two good football teams slugging it out.
Will you stay with Moss in the second half?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Tom. Good luck.
Thank you.
Tom Higgins and the Eskimos 7-0 on Commonwealth Stadium turf this year. They trail by a field goal. As the second half underway, a high, short kickoff, and Tim Fleiser, the Harvard product, whose father was an Alouette, is able to get on the football.
Take a look at AC, what he did in the first half right there. The white, obviously, the completions. He got the one touchdown. Lottie going deep. At least the biggest thing that Anthony Cavill does is he stretches the defense. 11 for 20, 124 yards. Trying to get something going right now. Lawrence Phillips not really a factor in that first half.
You know, we expected this to be a battle of the running backs, Phillips versus Avery. Phillips 9 yards and a touchdown in the first half. Avery 17 yards and a touchdown. Alouettes go to work at their own 34, and they'll try and establish Phillips early in the second half, but not much. Off the left side, Kelvin Kinney in on the tackle. He got a tooth knocked out by Neil Fort the last time these two teams met.
You know what? He actually got head jacked by Big 66 in Montreal. He head jacked and knocked his gold cap off his tooth that he ended up swallowing. And I thought the funniest part about it is he said, you know what? I just didn't think I was going to go hunting for it.
Well, with Thanksgiving dinner just around the corner, we won't get any further into it than that.
It's not a pretty dentistry story.
2nd and 7. Calvillo steps up. Kinney in pursuit. And Calvillo goes down short of the first down by a couple of yards as Terry Ray was bearing down on the Montreal quarterback.
Well, once he crossed that line of scrimmage, Terry Ray and Malcolm Frank came up to put the finishing touches on him. And it's exactly what you want to do as you come out to start the second half. Defensively, stuff him. Get the ball back to your offense. See if you can still build on what you started to build in the first half with Jason Moss at the helm.
Jason Tucker is out of this game. A right hamstring problem, so he is finished for the afternoon. And that means Terry Vaughn has to return punts. And the Eskimos have to be a little concerned about some of their marquee guys doing extra duty here in that department.
Well, remember, Winston October is not in the roster today, and they decided to go with these other guys. Jason Tucker, who did it in '99 in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys, and right now, Terry Vaughn's going to get the opportunity.
Not that they can't do it. Vaughn directing traffic as he gets up to the 28, but just you're putting marquee players at further risk.
But you know what? A lot of these guys like Terry Vaughn, they want to touch the ball as much as possible anyway, so it's just an opportunity for them to make something happen with the football.
Danny Macchiocia sending out Jason Moss to start this second half. Let's take a look at his passing chart. Actually, this is a combined chart of the Eskimo passers in the first half.
Well, that's the big combo, as you can see. The one yellow dot, obviously the big touchdown. Terry Vaughn late in the second quarter, excuse me.
They swing it out. Here's Vaughn. Up to the 36. That's a gain of 8. The Alouette defense has made adjustments all season long at halftime. They've allowed just under 3 points a game in the third quarter this season.
Well, the biggest thing you have to do is you have to make sure you get somebody on everybody that comes rushing. On that play, Strickland 38's coming on a linebacker blitz. An offensive lineman that was free fell out and picked him up. Now that's one of the big things. That allows your quarterback to get that extra time to find a receiver.
Second down, Moss just throwing that away as Herbie was all tied up when the pressure was being applied to the Eskimo quarterback.
Now they're trying to do the same thing they had success with
in the second quarter, and that was just basically a little quick hit screen. Trying to get a little play action and just dump it off. But you got to have a little bit more time than that as Stephon Reed is right in there. Mark Megna as well to apply the pressure, forcing Moss to throw that ball away a little quicker than they wanted to.
So neither team gets anything done on their first possessions of this second half. And Sean Fleming set to punt the ball away. Line drive, Stokes 24-yard line. Big block there. Stokes trying to get outside. Now turns it upfield. And Stokes, another cut back into the middle, finally brought down at midfield. That's the first time they've really unleashed the dangerous punt returner today. A 51-yard punt. 32 on the return for the dangerous Keith Stokes.
Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Next Saturday, the CFL on CBC. The Lions in Regina against the Rough Riders. The battle for second place in the West continues, guys.
All right, Steve, Saskatchewan beaten in Winnipeg on Saturday. All these Western clashes so important now. Here's a swing pass, Copeland out of the backfield and into Edmonton territory at the 48-yard line. Let's take another look at that fine return by Keith Stokes, and he got a big block.
Well, 32-yarder, but it all starts with a block, and right there, that's the big. He got the wall, and then that allows him to get to the outside. He has to do something by breaking one tackle on his own. And we all know what he can do when he gets in the open field. But nice job of adjusting, coming back against the grain, trying to spring up and get more yardage. But a big return, setting up the Alouette offense in great field position.
We noticed that Sylvain Girard is into the game for Montreal in place of Pat Woodcock, and that is Girard with the catch at the Eskimo 30-yard line.
Well, I don't even know if they lose anything when they bring this guy in right now. Sylvain Girard, great speed, out on the outside, does a nice job of pushing the defender off and then coming back and sitting down in front of him. Once he catches that football, tries to get a little grip on his footing right there, but again, a nice job of knowing where you want to do, and again, another job, a good job of execution and making a nice decision by the quarterback, Cavillo.
Girard, the former Concordia Stinger, a native of Chicoutimi, one of the many Quebecers in this Alouette lineup. First down, fake to Phillips, and now a strike thrown. And that is Darren Hall with the catch. And another Montreal first down.
Well, Darren Hall, who had a stint in Edmonton last year, does a nice job. Little play action. Sits back there, gets nice time to throw this, and just a crossing route. Right in the middle, Darren Hall, number 83, getting some separation from newcomer Darryl Crutchfield, making the play, and again, very precision-like.
Well, they just have so many weapons. We saw in the first half 2 scoring drives of 10 plays. And so many are involved in this offense. On this series, we've seen Sylvain Girard come in. Phillips has been a key guy, and now flags fly as Ben Cahoon was the intended target.
Well, anytime that flag comes at the goal line right like that, behind the play where the coverage is, it's usually pass interference. And I think it's a pretty safe bet that that's the call.
Legal contact to the receiver. Edmonton, number 6. First down.
He said 6, I believe. He meant 26, Donnie Brady.
Well, I guess he got so wrapped up in there he is. It is 26.
And they'll place the ball on the 6 after the infraction on 86.
It's a nice job of adjusting. Ben Cahoon forcing Donnie Brady to grab him across the chest.
4 receivers left. Calvillo to the right side. Touchdown, Thomas Haskins.
You mentioned it earlier, Chris, and I'll reiterate again. They have so many weapons. Just a little, it's almost like an option play right now where the quarterback, Calvillo's just going to run to the right. A little touchdown celebration by the receivers, Copeland, Hall, and Haskins. And he's just going to flow out to the right, Cavillo is. He either throws it or he runs it. Haskins gets some separation from the coverage, a little dump pass, and he does the rest himself, takes it into the end zone.
5 completions on the drive, assisted by 1 penalty. And an extra point from Terry Baker. And once again, the Alouettes are up by 10 here early in the third quarter.
Right now, you can get 2 teen burgers for only $5 at A&W. That's 2 great tasting teen burgers for only $5 for a limited time at A&W.
It's savings time at a steel dealer near you. Steel, built to last, priced to sell.
How does lightning smell? Smell this.
Speed Stick Lightning, an intense scent that smells good. Nice. Tough 24-hour protection, a scent inspired by the power of nature.
The Ultimate Canadian Beer brings you the Ultimate Canadian Road Trip. You could win a trip to 6 Canadian cities for 6 games with 3 friends in 9 days. I am Canadian. No purchase necessary. Must be legal drinking age.
Water is life. Explore the wonders of water and air. The atmosphere is moving through every living thing on Earth. Keeping the planet fit for life. The Sacred Balance, Part 2. Tonight at 9 on CBC.
6-year veteran of the league, Thomas Haskins, his 7th touchdown catch. And you just made reference that those shoes feel a lot better. I think he changed the footwear.
Well, he's just going to come across like there. You see him right there. Now it becomes a game. He can either run the football, Camille can, or he can dump the pass off. If he sees Haskins with the separation, Haskins gets the separation. Simple dump and a touchdown.
Well, he is a terrific player. He's been in the shadows of Mike Pringle and Lawrence Phillips in his Montreal career. Great kickoff coverage. Stefan 410 downfield as we check our Canadian Tire game notes.
Well, we talked about blowing off the rust. They hadn't played 2 weeks. 177 yards in the first half. Getting it done right now as well. Defense shutting down Avery. Shut down the electricity. Only 17 yards rushing. For Edmonton, the offense. O-line must have a big day. Avery's got 1 touchdown. They're starting to get better protection to Jason Moss. On defense, Jan, the receivers, Hall, 36-yard touchdown catch from Copeland's the only one. That was a trick play.
So now, let's see if Jason Moss can answer back again. The last 2 Montreal touchdowns have been followed by Eskimo scores. And Moss in the flat. And Chris Brazel with the catch. And Wayne Shaw, who's had a fine year at the corner with the hit. Some of that injured Calvillo thumb, which it looks worse than right now. He really has not been hampered by the game.
I don't think at all. I think it just basically broke the skin. That's why you see a lot of blood. It looks worse than it probably is. Doesn't seem to be hampering, as you say. Again, it looks like Montreal not true to form, not going to abandon their defensive package and basically bring everything but the house at the quarterback, whoever it may be.
Just 3 yards on the completion to Brazel, 2nd and 7. And now this side, look out, the speedy John Avery. Lightning up the sidelines, and an extra 15 will get tacked on as a flag flies on the hit out of bounds.
Well, there was 1 flag, as definitely was hit out of bounds, and John Avery pushed unceremoniously out after he was out. But I think the player that was involved in the infraction got a little jostled by the Eskimo players, and another flag was thrown.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Montreal number 8, 1st down.
Well, that's it. And it's a net gain of 34 for the Eskimos, as clearly Avery was out of play.
And that's a good mismatch in putting 44 Johnson coverage responsibilities to Avery. If he slides out, well, Kevin Johnson may be a fine linebacker, but he's just not going to keep up with the speed of a John Avery.
John Avery over 1,600 yards from scrimmage, over 300 via the pass, and now back on the ground and tripped up as he gets to the 45. 6 for Avery. We talked to John Avery prior to the game about his electrifying style.
And it's like, sometimes I'm just going to have to beat people to the corner, beat people to the corner. Sometimes we're going to have to stretch the defense, hit the hole, and be a big back and take the pounding. But I'm willing to do that. So I describe myself as a Richard Pryor type because, you just never know what's going to happen when I get the ball because I don't know.
Well, the last couple of plays, he's definitely been on fire.
Didn't know Richard Pryor was an old running back. Here's Moss under pressure, and down he goes. He escaped the first and then took the hit.
They do not abandon their game plan. Kevin Johnson's coming. They're going to bring everybody, and that's what they do. They have a blitz package. He does a nice job of coming in there. 23 just comes in late. Mark Washington, who's playing the second half in place of Baron Miles. We talked about how they'll rotate at the secondary. Comes in. Terry Vaughn would love to have had that ball thrown to him. Jason Moss did not have a time to deliver it.
So they force the Eskimos to punt. Angling the punt, Stokes at his 18. Surrounded and brought down. Again, Roger Reinson, one of the first men downfield. And just a 2-yard return of a 44-yard punt.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the award-winning Mazda Protege and Protege 5.
Well, the last 8 years, this has been quite a head-to-head battle. 8 wins for Montreal, 7 for the Eskimos. Alfred Payton's been quiet so far today, and the Eskimos need a defensive stand here, as Montreal has been able to sustain drives on their last 3 possessions.
Well, Alfred Payton, very unselfish. Really having an outstanding year, leading the league with 15 sacks, but Neil Ford doing a good job on him.
There's Gerard with his second catch of the afternoon.
Well, you got to respect the speed of a Sylvain Gerard, and Malcolm Frank found that out again. As Gerard just takes him outside, finds the opening, comes back to the football, goes high, knowing that he's going to get hit, sacrificing his body, but holding on to the football. It's a nice job of going up, catching the football by Gerard.
Gerard has taken the place of Pat Woodcock. We don't have an update on Woodcock, but he is not at the Alouette bench. First down, Calvillo. And he has a completion to Haskins near midfield. Eskimo defenders were trying to wave that off as incomplete, but Haskins went low to pull it in.
Well, Thomas Haskins again just doing a nice job of getting behind the linebackers. Once you get behind it, he plays right and sets it down right in front of the safety, Jackie Kellogg. But Calvillo again, quick read, sees the defense, knows exactly where he wants to go with the football, and delivers it. And he, again, methodically moving the chains.
First down for the offense that leads the league in yards per game this season. Calvillo looks deep, and a good battle downfield intended for Copeland. And Shannon Garrett was step for step.
Well, you know, when you're going to bring the blitz, you're going to get man-on-man coverage downfield. Shannon Garrett does a nice job of staying step for step with Jermaine Copeland, because Edmonton's bringing the house. They're bringing everybody. Both linebackers are coming in. Mobley, Terry Ray, forcing Calvillo to throw that ball quickly, but excellent coverage downfield by Shannon Garrett.
8 consecutive pass plays for the Alouettes. It'll be 9 in a row if he can get it off. And does! Complete once again. And Jermaine Copeland has another catch.
Well, this is a play you just can't give up on defense. Calvillo actually feels that he's going down. He almost goes down in a half duck position, expecting to get hit. Now he goes back in there. He's going to go down, expecting. Then he finds out, hey, it opens up. He gets to the outside. Nice job of working. Nice job by the receivers adjusting their routes, coming back. Copeland with a nice catch.
You know, Chris, the Eskimos #1 in quarterback sacks, #2 in pass defense, and Anthony Calvillo is picking them apart. Now Phillips. Short game.
Well, not a lot of yardage by Lawrence Phillips, but you still can never abandon the run game. You got a guy like this who can bust one, a game breaker.
You can see rushing yards allowed.
Eskimos vastly improved their run defense after some problems earlier this season, but the Alouettes are doing their damage.
Well, it's a nice job
air.
of running it. You know, sporadically throwing a run in there and play games with the Eskimo linebacking crew. Now they don't know if they should tighten up to the line or drop back in coverage. That's what causes them problems.
2nd and 8, wide open, Ben Cahoon, touchdown, Montreal. There is a flag.
It's a late flag. It's going to be for roughing the passer. But Ben Cahoon does a nice job. He gets to the inside of Donnie Brady. Cavillo, we just talked about him again. Outstanding year this year. On the money. And it's his ability to see things on the football field. That's what a veteran does. He sees things. It's almost like everything he says. The longer he play, everything slows down. It's almost like seeing things in slow motion. He makes things look so easy. But again, Ben Cahoon hooking
Major
up.
foul, roughing the passer. Edmonton 27 will be applied in the kickoff.
Well, Mobley getting the roughing the passer, but that'll be tacked on the kickoff. But again, Cavillo, what a great year. Nice job of recognition and getting rid of the football quickly. And boy, Ben Cahoon just getting over there and finding the opening, turning Brady inside out, coming inside, make another catch, another touchdown.
So Cahoon has his 6th touchdown catch of the year, and Calvillo lighting it up as they expand their lead to 17 points. Ben Cahoon, who has Alberta roots, with the touchdown catch as the Alouettes move 17 points.
You're going to bring
up.
the blitz, and they're going to bring this, and they pick it up. Now, once you pick up the blitz, we talked about the fact that the backside's in man-to-man coverage. Donnie Brady does not get Ben Cahoon. Nobody accounts for him. He's just going to come inside, broken coverage. You can see 26, Donnie Brady, who realizes that as soon as he catches the football, that is a dead play.
John Avery, couple of stutter steps, and look at him go. Up the sidelines, and he did step out. They're going to mark him back at the 41, but give him just a crack. And
I tell you what, he must be one heck of a dancer because he's got all the moves. Oh, you can see that left foot just touched it. Good call by the referee. Nice replay.
Well, he'll need to do some high stepping now. 3:15 remaining, 3rd quarter. And again, the Alouettes defense continues their 3rd quarter dominance this season. Last 3 series for the Eskimos have resulted in punts. They're trying to stretch it to Ed Hervey. Was he inbounds? No. A catch by Hervey, but he was out of bounds, and he doesn't like the call. Blanket coverage by an old Eskimo, Perry Carter.
Oh, Perry Carter, excellent coverage. Nice job of getting some time to throw this ball deep. He's going to stretch the defense. You can see right there as he catches the left foot definitely on the marker. On the sideline, he's out of bounds. Good call by the referee. Fans didn't like it, but
not much doubt about the call. Hervey missed the last 2 weeks, post-concussion syndrome. 2nd and 10. Moss under pressure, gets it away. John Avery across midfield. Oh, great play by Moss, but there is a flag.
Flag at the end, and the way the boys are clapping on the Edmonton sideline, it looks to be against Montreal after the play.
Legal contact to the receiver. Edmonton number 20 declined. First out.
Well, Perry Carter was an infraction, but what a Houdini-like act by Jason Moss.
Yes, it was a penalty against 20. Montreal declined. And Jason Moss does a nice job when it looked like he was in trouble here.
Well, they might have, the only thing they might have an argument on is that knee was definitely on the ground before he threw that football.
Yes, it was.
They got a lucky one there.
They got a break because there was contact, and then the knee went down. Almost slipped again, and then he's finished off right at midfield.
Well, Mark Magna coming around with the sack, but they're just bringing so many people that they're not allowing Jason Moss to sit back there
for any length of time to get comfortable. They're just going after him, disrupting any kind of continuity, any kind of a rhythm he may have. Little play action trying to hold him, but this doesn't hold anybody. They're just coming right in there. I almost think they'd be more successful getting John Avery out of the backfield, force them to stay, put some guy on him, get one of the cover guys over there, take away one of the rushers.
43 sacks on the year for Montreal, 15 better than all of last season. Here comes Reed on a blitz. Moss gets it away, incomplete, and a late flag as Megna unloaded on Moss.
Well, Megna coming off the outside. Stephon Reed chased from the backside. He kind of just knocks Moss down to the ground after he throws the football, and the flag is thrown immediately. He's going to go outside. The ball's gone. There it is. There's the contact.
Montreal, number 54, first down.
Lineman of the week 2 weeks ago, smiling despite the penalty, but he's had a lot to smile about this year. What an addition he's been to that Montreal front.
Well, he was the lineman of the week. Last game that Montreal played against Toronto, 4 tackles and a sack in that football game, and he's definitely making his presence felt today, meeting up with both quarterbacks today. Particular points in the football game.
Tom Higgins said the last time they met there were 15 or 20 pressures of the quarterback. Usually Edmonton surrenders between 5 and 8 in a game. That's how much the heat was turned up. Terry Vaughn lunging forward across the 15.
Terry Vaughn just coming across the football field, getting some separation from Mark Washington, who's in playing this half in place of Baron Miles. Gets some separation and then turns it up. The little big man. Nice job of staying in the football field, not running out of bounds. That's one thing you won't see Terry Vaughn do. He won't take it to the sideline. He's going to bring it back into the football field and pick up whatever he can.
6th 100-yard game for Terry Vaughn this season. We mentioned off the top he'd been a little quiet in recent weeks. Not today. Now Moss, again, great pressure, and he is unable to hook up with Avery because Mark Megna had him lined up again.
Again, they're just bringing too many guys, and somebody has to come free. This particular play, it's just going to be 54. Mark Megna is just going to come out there. The offensive lineman have to protect inside out. And as a result, there's always going to be one gap to the outside, and Megna finding that gap and putting some pressure on Jason Moss.
Dying seconds of the third quarter. The Eskimos trying to cut into a 17-point Montreal lead. Moss with time, throws a strike. Vaughn down at the 3-yard line. On the final play of the third quarter, Vaughn going to be just short of a first down. $36,255 have gathered on this Thanksgiving Monday at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. The Eskimos threatening here, but trailing in some big offensive numbers by the Montreal Alouettes.
Well, they came out fired up in the third quarter. I mean, they put some first downs, 8 first downs compared to only 3 for Edmonton, but of course the big stat is 2 touchdowns.
And a big play here, 3rd and 1 for the Eskimos. Moss seemed to slip on the push, and Tim Strickland of the Alouettes are saying they didn't get there. Robert Brown is up, the former Eskimo, celebrating.
I think you're right on, Chris, when you talk about the fact he looked like he slipped. He's trying to tuck in behind the offensive lineman, but when he went down, I think he lost all momentum, and now it comes down to where they marked it. Montreal thinks they stopped him, but just going to go to the left, going to try and tuck. You see that left foot just kind of slips. That allows the defense to come over and make the stop on him.
Get a better look here.
His initial push off his left foot went out.
No question.
That
couple of feet short. And they turn it over on downs. And it's been a long afternoon for the green and gold.
Well, that's just crucial right there. You talk about turnovers. You know, sometimes they don't hurt you in the framework of a football game. But when you're down and you're right there sniffing the goal line, you cannot turn the ball over.
Well, Tom Higgins mentioned yesterday that this field seems to change throughout the season, month by month. And the Eskimos have had trouble, even though it's their home turf.
You know, he's having a chat. As well as they're playing, he's such a perfectionist. He's actually talking about Magna. Give him a little lecture on taking the roughing the passer penalty.
Good eye there. We notice Ricky Ray has gone to the Eskimos room. They start in a hole, and Calvillo incomplete, intended for Haskins.
Well, I think the big difference so far in this football game is pressure. Montreal has pressured Edmonton's offense, got in Jason Moss's face earlier in the game, the starter, Ricky Ray, and here's the difference. Look at the time that this offensive line from Montreal is giving Anthony Calvillo. And when you give a guy like this that kind of time, he's going to pick you apart, and he's doing just that today.
Only 15 sacks allowed on the season, and today they're up against the team that led the CFL in quarterback sacks with 43.
And that's where you really got to applaud the big boys up front. Going against a tough defense, as you say, leading the league with sacks.
2nd and 10, the Eskimos defense needs a big play. And the pass intended for Stokes, incomplete.
Well, Stokes just going to release down the numbers, wide side of the football field. Sharon Garrett with a nice job of coverage. And it all starts, we talked about this up front. Nice down, get down, left shoot, Neil Ford. Staying away, keeping them away. And we talked earlier, you talked about how Coach Tom Higgins talks about pressures. Well, pressures really are as good as a sack. You get forced to throw that football away. And they really have done that.
Well, you wonder if Terry Baker might concede 2 here, a safety. As the Eskimos await this punt at the Montreal 45. Taking time off the clock. And they'll take a time count violation and go half the distance to the goal line and be a 1-yard penalty.
And most, you know, a lot of the times they do that. They don't
violation.
have.
Montreal number 10, still 3rd down.
They don't have enough players on the field, but counting from up here, they do have 12 players on the field. So you're almost wondering what they're doing on that.
Oh, the 17-point lead. They don't mind running some time off the clock. You talk about attention to detail, and you mentioned Mark Megna having a word from the coach. And Don Matthews, as well as they played against Toronto 2 weeks ago, he said, we made 15 mental mistakes on special teams alone. So he is a stickler for detail, and the Alouettes will indeed concede 2 as Baker goes for a run, and it's pushed onto the track. And so it is a 15-point Montreal lead. Still plenty of time. We're just a minute and a half into the 4th quarter.
The Mazda Protege and Protege 5. What puts these siblings at the top of their class?
Zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah.
The award-winning Mazda Protege and Protege 5. Overachievers running the family.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
I bet the old Governor General never did this.
Oh, please. That guy was so stiff they could have used him to jimmy open the windows.
You're way funkier.
Uh-huh. This one's called the Scarborough Strut. It's all in the hands, right?
In the disco age, people knew how to write melodies, you know?
It was a renaissance. This one's called a spaz. It's easier to do if you're boneless.
Like a gymnast.
They feed those girls with an eyedropper, you know, and make them sleep in drawers.
Excellency, the Russian ambassador is here.
Okay, let me get rid of this guy, and then I'll show you what got me barred from Thailand.
Rideau Hall, 7:30 on CBC Comedy Friday.
Well, it's been a high-scoring affair. It started early with a defensive touchdown. Kevin Johnson. Stokes misplayed a punt. An Eskimo touchdown there. John Avery in for a major. The latest score to Ben Cahoon. Now Montreal enjoys a 38-23 lead on the kickoff. Wendell Davis, after the safety by Montreal, gets it to the 39, where Jason Moss will lead the offense back out.
Well, a game of 8 touchdowns, 5 by Montreal, 1 by defense on Montreal, 4 offensively. Really done it in all aspects of the field. We've seen a trick play, special teams by Montreal. Edmonton with touchdowns from Avery and Vaughn, and of course that Ryanson recovery, as we saw, in the end zone on a misplaced punt by Keith Stokes.
Well, plenty of time for more fireworks. See what Jason Moss can do. Alouettes showed blitz, dropped off, and wide open was Chris Brazel. Pass overthrown.
Well, that's the other look they'll give you. They'll line everybody up, and they'll drop all the linebackers out. Just rush with the 4 defensive linemen. Trying to get the offensive lineman to just say the thing. You can see Stephon Reed coming backing out. The middle linebacker, Kevin Johnson, 44, backing out. But initially, they're going to line right up over the guards and the centers. Trying to force the offensive line to make a call.
So 2nd and 10 for the Eskimos. Brazel and Hervey are the wideouts. The 2 inside receivers, a line to the left. Here comes the blitz from Johnson. And the pass thrown incomplete. Ed Hervey had been knocked down by Perry Carter. And a quick 2 and out for a frustrated-looking Eskimo offense.
I mean, they got to figure out how to stop it. They did a good job of doing the little dump hitch pass in the first half, but you got the middle linebacker, Kevin Johnson, coming from the middle. You got Mark Washington coming off the corner. He's got nowhere to go. He's just got to get rid of the football. And again, it's like a wasted down. Get rid of it, regroup. You almost got to get on the bench and figure out a way to block that. There is one thing. If you do run the ball, and I really believe this, and you break that initial plane, you know, you got a guy like Avery, he's going to go a long way. I really think you can't abandon the run game. I know that you're down by
Look
a bit.
at this. Fleming throws a first down. Mike Bradley has the catch. Well, we're seeing a little bit of everything today, and Sean Fleming with a toss.
Well, may that be the lift they need right there offensively. Get a little momentum back on their side of the football field. Little excitement going in that Eskimo uniform.
18 yards. Here's Bradley straight up the gut. And the Waterloo product with a big catch and a first down.
Yeah, nice job of Sean Fleming. Nice throw. Seen a couple nice throws by would-be quarterbacks.
Is that the spark the Eskimos needed? Now they go to Avery. Out of the Walby playbook, and a flag is thrown as Avery gets to the 50.
Well, the biggest thing is a holding penalty. That's something you can't have, but I really do like the call. I think if you're going to line everybody from the line of scrimmage, if you get a guy like Avery who can break free, he's going to do some damage. Unfortunately, when you get a holding penalty against it.
Holding, Edmonton, number 63, first down repeated.
I believe that's 53, Tim Prince in the center. Right at the point of attack. Talk about penalties there, Chris. 7:56 Edmonton, 11 for 56 Montreal. Last time they played, I think they set a record for penalties. Never seen so many flags being thrown.
So 1st and 20. 4 receivers left side and early movement. You mentioned maybe breaking one, and Avery's frustrated he hasn't hit the home run this year, an 80 or 90
procedure.
yard.
Edmonton, number 53, still first down.
Well, Tim Princeton called for procedure.
See, he's got to, you know, they always say, forget the play. You can't do anything about that play. It's done. Get back in the football game, because if you let that thing weigh on your mind, you're going to make more mistakes. It's an exact example of that. He gets a holding penalty. Very next play takes a procedure because he's thinking about that.
Now it's 1st and 25, and the ball's been pushed back to the Edmonton 42. Again, 4 receivers left side. Here comes the rush, and he's down back at the 30. and the Eskimos still haven't solved Montreal's pressure.
Well, there's a pile of white. I mean, there's 4 guys coming free. He's got nowhere to go. I mean, he can't roll out. He can't roll away from it because they're coming from the right, the left, and up the middle. This is just pressure. He looks there now. There's up in the middle. There's a linebacker again. Then he got to the right. Megna's coming over on that side. Mark Washington's involved in that pileup.
Okay, Mr. Offensive Coordinator, what do you call on 2nd and 35?
Something that works. But I tell you, I mean, the biggest thing I like, I mean, when you get the ball back in less, and you need less yardage, maybe attack the wide side of the football field a little bit more.
Put a screen to Avery. Nope, they'll go deep, looking for Hervey, who had been held up and unable to run under it.
Well, Perry Carter does a nice job. The safety, William Loftus, slides over. It's double covered. They realize Hervey is the deep threat, and they take it away. And once again, force Sean Fleming to come out. I can dare you say that Matthews will have this fake pass covered this time.
Well, you know, there was a little bit of momentum, just an injection with that trick play on 3rd down, but Don Matthews' defense just stopped it cold with that defensive stand.
His philosophy of being aggressive and keep coming after you, and he will not bend. He will not change that philosophy.
And now Fleming off the side of his foot, not deep, and he doesn't get a bounce as it caroms out of bounds, and it has been a tough second half for the green and gold. Just a 25-yard Fleming punt.
Now there's a new way to help soothe your skin after shaving. New Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm with vitamins. It has advanced moisturizers to soothe and improve the look of your skin. Nivea Aftershave Balm. More evolved skincare.
Toyota feeling. We help you keep it.
What is the sense of an avalanche? Smell this.
Speed Stick Avalanche, an intense scent that smells good.
Cool.
Tough 24-hour protection, a scent inspired by the power of nature.
Hi, I'm Harlan Williams, and I'm coming across the country with 5 of the hottest comics from the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, and we're bringing them right to you.
It's back. Via Rail Canada presents the Just for Laughs Comedy Tour, hosted by Harlan Williams, and featuring the most hilarious stand-ups appearing in St. John's, St. John, Moncton, and Halifax. For details, visit hahaha.com. Via Rail Canada presents the Just for Laughs Comedy Tour. Oh!
Hey, if you were on tour, I'd come and watch you.
Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. 9:58 to play in the 4th quarter. Als leading by 15. We want your help. We want to get you on the net, and you can vote for Walby's Ultimate Warrior online at cbc.ca/CFL. And don't forget, we're bringing back the Grey Cup Classics. You can also vote online for the game you'd like to see during Grey Cup week, guys.
Thank you, Steve. And here is Lawrence Phillips churning into the Edmonton end of the field with his best run of the day.
Well, best run of the day, and he's a little excited because much like Avery, a great back, and I'll put him in that. He is a great football player. Wants the ball more than he's been getting it. You know, Caville's been doing it so well through the air that they sometimes forget about running the ball.
Well, this team came in with the swagger, Chris. And I think their confidence is brimming now. Back to the ground, back to Phillips. And they may sense a dispirited Eskimo defense. And Phillips,
well,
churning for more yards.
That's exactly what it is. It's dispirited. And you know what you do? A good team, and I hate to see this, but a good team will finish off a team that's dispirited and go after him. And right now, Matthew's going to do that. And what he's going to do, you're going to probably see number 11 carry the pigskin a whole lot in the remaining part of this football game.
When asked about the confidence of the team yesterday, Don Matthews mentioned we might be 3 plays away from a perfect season. Their 3 losses all came in the final minutes of games and all really revolved around 1 play per loss. Phillips again. Mobley meets him. Donnie Brady stepped up, but that's close to another Montreal first down.
Well, I can remember two right now off the top of my head. Terry Baker missing a field goal at the end of the game. It could have beat Hamilton. And then I looked at the other one, and when they played Winnipeg, they inserted Tavares Bolden to run the option. He fumbled the ball in the last minute of the game, and Winnipeg recovered, kept that victory. So you're right. I mean, but you know what? The thing about it is they're a team right now that really believes they can't be beat. Boy, that's a tough team to play.
And you know what? A lot of people watching today are believing even more. Even a couple of weeks ago, this is a team that was 3-3 in the last 6 weeks, and people were starting to say, hey, it might be like last year when they lost 9 straight, but that clearly is a different team. Calvillo with a lot of time, and now a flag goes down into the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for Keith Stokes. And again, a marker on the play.
Well, you know what? Calvillo is just so confident out there. He gets out there, there's pressure, he gives a little sidestep, buys himself some more time, gets to the outside, makes another guy miss, throws the ball and almost comes up with a nice catch or nice throw and catch by Keith Stokes in the corner of the end zone. They're having fun. You know, Matthews talked about having fun today, and I tell you what, his team is having fun.
Legal contact in the receiver. Edmonton, number 23. First down.
Shannon Garrett is the culprit.
You know, we talked about the stuff that's happening away from the football, all the extracurricular activities going on. There's a lot of that right now. You talked about the frustration level starting to rise on that Eskimo defense, and that was an indication of that right there.
Calvillo directing traffic, sending Stokes to the left side, and they sweep the ball left side. Haskins taken down by Malcolm Frank.
Well, you know what? You sweep the ball to the left with Haskins, but before you do that, you roll out Lawrence Phillips to the right. That pulls some of the linebackers, some of the pursuit. I mean, I tell you what, they're running a very, very efficient offense.
Seven yards on the pickup by Haskins, who has a touchdown catch in this game. It was a 3-point lead at the half. It's been all Montreal in the second half. Phillips, left side, and he'll run out of room before he could turn it into a first down.
Well, Terry Ray, a nice job of forcing Lawrence Phillips out. Lawrence Phillips trying to get in the stiff arm, trying to get to the outside of the football field, stay in bounds. Terry Ray not allowing that at all. Just a little sweep action, running a little double tight end. Get to the outside, outruns the pursuit of the middle linebacker, Powell. Terry Ray forces him out.
Well, this is an interesting call. It's third and just over a yard. A field goal would make Edmonton need 3 scores to win, but they're going to go for a third down gamble, their 5th of the game. Phillips got hit as he tried to surge forward. Terry Ray got a piece of him, and this is going to be close.
Well, they're marking it already.
And the Eskimos have come up big, and I think a field goal would have put this away.
But I remember the old days when Don Matthews in Baltimore had Robert Drummond, and he always went on third down.
Hurry into the Kia Value Advantage event on now, featuring the 2003 Kia Rio, the fun-to-drive four-door with over 60 standard features, with lease rates from $168 a month with 0 down payment, and the 2003 Kia Spectra, the spacious compact with one of the roomiest interiors in its class, with lease rates starting from $188 a month with 0 security deposit. And all Kia vehicles are backed for 5 years by the best warranty in the business. So come down to your local Kia dealer today and zero in on value at the Kia Value Advantage event.
Look at you, just twine and pipe, standing there all empty. I see right through you, so I'm going to rip the puck right through you. I'm going to circle you, laugh, say it's feeding time. And you better be hungry for puck pie.
Play NHL 2003. Rated E for everyone.
If it's in the game,
EA Sports. It's in the game.
I'm going to be away for 9 days. My mother, she's going in for surgery.
You know your face is painted.
No, it isn't.
The Ultimate Canadian Beer brings you the ultimate Canadian road trip. 6 Canadian cities, 6 games, with 3 friends in 9 days.
What's that?
I am Canadian. No purchase necessary. Must be legal to Canadian.
Well, we know Don Matthews knows his way to a Grey Cup game. He's got some able assistants. Ted Gill, the defensive coordinator. And he's going to back up so we can see Jim Barker, the former Argonaut head coach, who runs the offense.
Well, they almost did that on cue.
Pretty good. Well, the Eskimos get a bit of a reprieve on that third down gamble that was unsuccessful. Flag down as Moss takes off and legs it out near the 25-yard line, but that marker is in the old holding territory.
Well, it's definitely holding, and this time Montreal's only going to rush 4. Bring the defensive line, let them earn their paycheck today, because most of the time they're rushing everybody.
Edmonton, number 60, first down repeated.
Well, the defense has been a huge story today.
They're all over. They just keep bringing more. The philosophy is simple. I'm going to bring more people than you can possibly block, and it's worked all afternoon. Not allowing the quarterback to have any chance to breathe, let alone read a possible connection downfield with one of his receivers.
They have a touchdown. They have 4 quarterback sacks, a pack of hurries, and they were the difference in the first meeting in some ways, and they have been.
The whole thing is you have to try and get them out of that box. They're all between the tackles. So, I mean, to me, it's easy to second guess. You got to get the ball much like that, quickly out to the sidelines, to the outside. Spread that defense. If that means giving the ball to Avery, let him run on a sweep, or throwing it in on a little, hitch pass real quick, but you can't do everything up the middle, and you can't sit back. And what amazes me, they're sitting a lot of times in a straight drop back, Chris. And that, I think, is, that's going right into the philosophy of the Montreal defense.
Back to that unsuccessful third down gamble, I almost think that Don Matthews not only was confident his offense could have gotten it, but that his defense has this game in such control that he didn't need the extra 3 points. We'll see if that decision haunts him at the end of the game. Avery drops the ball out of the backfield.
I'm going to tell you a comment that I thought was very interesting. John Matthews says, you know what, I have some input into the offense. He says, what I do, because I'm a defensive guru, is I basically design offensive plays that I think a defense would have a hard time covering. So he kind of works from his own background to develop the offense. I thought that was pretty brilliant.
The old defensive coordinator here in Edmonton. And again, we repeat something said in the first half. He lets Anthony Calvillo call the plays, but there are requirements. 2nd and 10. Moss rolling left side, looking deep, looking for Brazel, and he's got it at the 50-yard line of Montreal.
Well, Brazel working one-on-one with Wayne Shaw. Nice job. We talked about this. Don't sit in the pocket. Roll out. This time they roll out, gets him some extra time, and he finds Brazel all the way down for a big gain, and they move the chains. Nice job of rolling out. Don't sit in the middle. Don't sit like a pylon back there. Get to the outside. Buy yourself some time.
Brazel had 7 catches last week against Ottawa. He sat out 7 straight games and was frustrated, but with Jason Tucker out of the game with a hamstring injury, he becomes an important part of this offense. Here's a little option flip. Look out. Wendell Davis had it hit him in the back. He wasn't even looking for it, and the Alouettes have it.
Well, that is a miscue right there, because you got to be on the same page. You see Jason Moss very upset, and rightly so. Be on the same page. Know what you got to do. We talked about attacking the sideline. That's exactly what they're going to come back with, an option play. He pitches it. It hits Wendell Davis. Just going to roll out to the right. Little option. Pitch it now. He pitches it. Now 37. Wendell. I know you don't get to carry the ball a whole lot there, son, but you got to expect that football. Know the playbook. Unforgivable. Just a breakdown of communication. It's just kind of the way the afternoon's gone, but I mean, that might have been something there, Chris.
Kevin Johnson with his 2nd fumble recovery of the game. Chris Morris injured on the play, the veteran Eskimo right tackle. And there's also an Alouette down. We'll take a timeout.
At Frank Clair Stadium, the Renegades team up with Max, a War Amps champ. Max lost his leg in an accident.
Blue 6.
Now, he warns other kids to play safe. Max came to thank the CFL for its support of the Play Safe program.
Watch it in before you play. Play safe. Play safe.
This afternoon wrestling match didn't start with a break from the day's chores, or with a particular desire to help with them. It started with a trip to Canadian Tire.
This one just makes it easier. Good. I'll check too.
And with a plan to make working around the house a little less like work. Funny how where you end up has a lot to do with where you start. Canadian Tire.
Jason Moss steamed on the bench. How about Terry Vaughn? He's an All-Canadian for more than one reason. Watch this block.
Well, he comes back trying to seal the pursuit. That would allow them to get to the outside. Look at this crackback. Strickland, the recipient, and he was shaken up for the whole period of time we were gone away.
Strickland is up now. Alouettes with the edge in possession. Here's a ball tipped by Donnie Brady. But the Eskimos down. Need those balls to be caught.
Well, that's a nice job, though. They had coverage deep and they had coverage shallow with Donnie Brady sitting right exactly where he's supposed to. Gets the hand up. Doesn't allow the ball to go over his head. Times this perfectly. You can see Gerard just thinking he's got it, almost pulling that ball in. Exactly why you want to do that on coverage. Cover it deep and cover it shallow.
So it will be 2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz. Calvillo throwing it deep. And the ball is caught by Copeland at the 16. Whistled down. Copeland felt he hadn't been tackled by an Eskimo. But it's a 37-yard gain.
Over the left shoulder. This is a beautiful job of catching, adjusting to the football. Pressure's going to come. He's going to sit back there, unloads the football. Young doing the smart thing, not taking him down. But look at that, over the left shoulder. In tight coverage again by Shannon Garrett.
Remember yesterday, Don Matthews remembered Anthony Calvillo from his rookie year in Las Vegas, and he said, back then I noted right away he might have been the most accurate long passer he'd seen in the league.
Well, he also said, here's a guy that's only 29 years. He's only 29 years old. He's already got 9 years experience.
Alouettes moving in for the kill. Out of the backfield, Phillips. Inside the 10 and just driving to the 3.
Well, if there's a problem with this Montreal offense, it may be that we have to figure a way to distribute the football to make all these people happy.
3-minute warning given to the benches.
Selecting a tire and automotive services dealer can be puzzling, but it doesn't have to be. At OK Tire, you can have it all, including tickets for you and your family to the Grey Cup. Fill out a ballot at any OK Tire store, and you could win a trip for 4 to this year's Grey Cup in Edmonton. Prize includes tickets, airfare, accommodations, $500 spending money, and more. Contest ends October 25th. OK Tire stores and Kumho Tires. Way to go.
I will follow through.
I will tell you the truth.
I will be fair in the way I serve you.
I will treat you the way that I like to be treated.
I will listen.
I will go out of my way to help you.
I will value your money as much as my own.
I will not drop the ball.
I will keep my promises.
I will be here when you need me.
I give you my word.
I give you my word.
I give you my word.
We give you our word.
Keeping our word is standard. Standard Life. Speak to your financial security advisor today.
I was a girl with a big dream from a small town. A 16-year-old who wanted to ski with the best in the world. The people of Rosslyn believed in my dream. And after I won my gold medal, they held a parade for me. Today there are kids with big dreams all over this province. And I want to tell them, if you have a dream, get working on it. If you believe in it, people will believe in you. And when that happens, there's no telling how far you can go.
Laugh it up with a special hour-long edition of Royal Canadian Air Force. Then, The Foresight Saga and The Sacred Balance, tonight on CBC Television.
Back at Commonwealth, it's been a virtual shutout for the Alouettes in the second half. They did concede a safety. And you mentioned they shut out Edmonton in Montreal in the second half. And there's a touchdown by Lawrence Phillips.
Well, there's a late flag, and they're going to call it. They're bringing it back.
They are bringing it back.
There's some. The linemen are having some fun out there. The D-line and the O-line are really getting at it.
Montreal, number 53. First down, repeat it.
Izuma Okeke, the three-time All-Canadian, is called.
The left tackle. I tell you, this is a very physical game, and no love lost between these guys. Obviously, he's trying to take it. I mean, they ran over to that side. Obviously took the man that he was attempting to block to the ground, and a less than fair way according to the referee.
Alouettes had 497 yards of offense in their last game against Toronto, and we saw 449 so far today. Phillips will get stuffed here as he ran into Kelvin Kinney. But in that trench war today, the guys wearing the white jerseys have certainly dominated.
They've had an outstanding game, really have done a well, especially considering they have not ran the football that often. You see right there, nice job. You got to wonder what one guy wearing the Edmonton colors is thinking right now, and I'm speaking about Steve Charbonneau. 5 years in Montreal, little contract problem in the beginning of training camp. Ended up an Eskimo. Now playing against his former teammates. They're doing a pretty good job on 93. Kind of kept him quiet throughout this afternoon.
There's Charbonneau digging in. He had a big fumble recovery last week in Ottawa. Calvillo into the end zone. Incomplete. Gerard couldn't squeeze the pigskin.
Well, the secondary of the Eskimos, really, I mean, they're deflated right now. Their heads are down. They're kind of walking back to hell. You see Crutchfield again. Just got burnt. This is not what he wants to do. He's got to go, when he goes back to practice tomorrow and looks at game film. This evaluates whether you stay on the roster or you go on the practice roster. You have too many plays like that, you will be on the practice roster.
One that got away. Calvillo knows that Gerard should have squeezed that, and Crutchfield knows that he got away with one. And now Baker. From 19 yards out. 3 more for the Alouettes, who have 17 second half points. Steve?
Chris, 5 days from now, Sports Saturday, and we'll start with POV Sports, followed by men's World Volleyball action featuring Canada against Italy, and then the Mountain Bike World Championships and the CFL on CBC, the BC Lions in Regina against the Rough Riders. That's next Saturday on Sports Saturday.
2:21 remaining here. Tom Higgins' team about to lose for the first time on home turf this year, unless Jason Moss has some late magic. Brazel, nice cut back there, and up to the 44-yard line. Brazel taking exception to a late hit.
That was a late hit. Stephon Reed, he was down already, and he plowed into the back of him. The biggest thing you got to do right now with the score the way it is, you can't let the game get away from you, and the referee's got to control that right now. He gets down, and when he goes down, gets taken down. Now he's down right now. That's a late hit, and that should be a flag right there, Chris. I'm sorry.
Wendell Davis, the guilty party on the fumble that really finished the Eskimos today. Gets the carry for a first down.
Well, that's definitely a group that has to go back and, really reevaluate where they are, because they came into the game thinking, you know what, we're on a level playing field. After looking at them today, I don't think they are. Granted, they lost Tucker. And I think that, looking back, I think you know what, if you have to lose a guy like that, I think next time you got to make sure you're still on special teams. And I really believe you still need to bring a guy like Winston October on this roster. And sometimes you need a special team play to spark you, much like Stokes did the last time for Montreal when he played against these Eskimos.
Completion to Hervey, and the Eskimos now into their fire offense, operating without a huddle at the 51 of Montreal. And now Terry Vaughn, a one-handed, no, not a catch, because Wayne Shaw closed and separated Vaughn from the football.
That's a great job, Chris. Closed is exactly the key word. Terry Vaughn trying to do one of his circus catches he's been known for, bringing it down with his hands, bring it down. Let's listen to this.
Shaw's had a terrific year, 6 interceptions, a couple of touchdowns. And just one tough game when Alfred Jackson lit him up, and he actually had to sit a game after that. But has bounced back nicely. Second down, Moss looking that side again, and Brazel has the catch and gets on the football as plays whistled down, but it is a completion. And now they're saying
they
no
overruled
catch.
it. Oh, this is interesting. Of course, Brazel not happy with the call, slams the football down in front of the referee, drawing an objectionable conduct penalty. Well, that's interesting. One guy calls it a catch, goes up high. Does he have control of the football? Yes, he does. It comes out. If anything, that would be a fumble, and then he recovers it. The whole thing is control.
Edmonton, number 84.
He brings it there, and then he loses it.
Third down.
The referee on the spot, on the sideline there, is saying that he didn't have control of the football. Therefore, it wasn't a catch. But it was interesting. The guy behind him made the call saying it was a catch.
Yeah, I thought it was a catch, but it's academic at this point. 18 points down. The Eskimos needing 3 scores in a minute 42 against a defense that has not surrendered a point in the second half. Moss going deep, looking for Hervey, who's there and has it down to the 2.
What a beautifully thrown football by Jason Moss, who sits back there, gets some time from the offensive line. They've taken a lot of heat today. Ed Hervey just going to work one-on-one against Perry Carter. Just a straight out, I'm going to home, baby, I'm running. He gets some separation, has to let up and come back, and he does a nice job. At the end of the play, he keeps his back to the defender, and that allows him to adjust to the football.
Third 100-yard game of the year for Hervey. 59 on that catch. John Avery stopped at the 1.
Well, you look back at the last time that Edmonton was sniffing the goal line. They got stuffed in that 3rd and 1. That ended maybe possibly a drive or some momentum they might have had.
Let's go! Hurry!
Clock running. Second and goal from the 1. Avery's number called again. Touchdown Edmonton. John Avery with his 2nd of the game and his 11th major score of the season. With a minute 16 to go, a little window dressing for Edmonton.
Well, you remember, one of the things you will do, if these two teams do eventually lock horns again, is they will look back at this film and try to figure out a way for Edmonton to solve the blitz. For Montreal, how can they keep their success going against that Edmonton defense? That was a nice job of Moss getting the time on that play to find Ed Hervey, which was really the key to that play. And a second attempt. Avery taking it across the goal line.
So 11 points the lead, a minute 16 on the clock. We will see a short kick upcoming from Edmonton. Well, the Alouettes on the verge of their 12th win, which would be the 7th 12-win season in 8 years for Montreal. Hamilton stays ahead of Toronto with the overtime loss today. And the Eskimos look like they'll be 12-4, 6 points ahead of BC and Winnipeg. And let's check the games remaining. Montreal to close out in the East.
Well, they got one home game, or 2 home games actually, against Hamilton, on the road against Ottawa. There's Edmonton's remaining games, Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. Edmonton going to get a little bit of a time off after this football game.
One more loss by one of the teams behind will clinch first for Edmonton in the West. There's Winston October. I think you're right. It made sense when the Eskimos went with Wendell Davis to help their running game, but as it turned out, they could have used him.
This is the second time they've done that. The last time they played, they pulled Wendell Davis too, and they played him, and he got hurt early in the game, couldn't finish the football game. Nothing against Wendell Davis. It just hasn't worked out.
It's Chris Hardy with the short kick, and that ball didn't even go 5 yards. John Avery's got it, but it has to go 10 before the Eskimos can play it.
You could check the reaction. I mean, Ricky Walters and I believe it's Brady on the sideline watched that kick come toward him, didn't even make a move toward it.
The flag on the kickoff.
So the Alouettes will take over.
Little trickery, he just gets under that football and shanks it. You can see down the bottom of your screen, he's not even making, that's Ricky Walters, and he's basically just looking at that going, oh.
Offside, Edmonton number 13, declined. Edmonton takes the ball at the point Montreal takes the ball at the point Edmonton touch it. First down.
Easy for him to say.
Well, they said Walters was offside, but it didn't matter. The kick didn't
travel the necessary 10 yards, and that said it all right there. A lot of frustration. Now, you got to give John Avery credit for getting that football, though. If everybody gave up on that and Montreal picked it up, they could run it in for a score.
So at the 41-yard line. Alouettes to kill the clock. Phillips wrestled down, tossed back by the former Alouette, Charbonneau.
And goes to number 11, Lawrence Phillips.
Charbonneau doing a nice job, still playing this football game, playing tough.
They give Phillips a gain of a couple.
Well, if there were any questions about the Alouettes, I think they've just about all been answered. And it will be a formidable task for any team that has to go into Olympic Stadium.
You try and look at them, you evaluate them on the three stages of the football team. Their offense is clicking, their defense is swarming, and their special teams are electric. That's pretty tough to beat.
Calvillo, Phillips brought down at the 38, and it will be third down. There's Greg Marshall, who watched most of the game from up top. And the Eskimo defensive coordinator left with a couple of minutes to go, and he was not happy when he vacated the spotters booth upstairs.
Yeah, they'll get together and all the coaches sit there and they'll break down this film today. They won't wait till tomorrow. That's one of the things that coaches will do. They'll take it back to the offices tonight and dissect this film. And they've got to be able to have a handle on it when the players report to watch this film.
And you heard him say, watch the fake. Final minute, an 11-point Montreal lead, and you're still not sure what.
But you know, one of the things that Matthew, I got to give him kudos for this. When you run a fake, you know what it does? It causes your team to be apprehensive about rushing the punter. We all got to cover somebody now. We got to make sure we don't make a mistake. And if I can get you to hesitate, I can beat you.
And it causes the other staff to spend a little more time in the film room.
Absolutely.
Jerry Baker working the clock. Flags fly. There are too many men on the field. Gonna run it out. Terry Vaughn. Another flag. More. What, we've got 5? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? We've got 5 markers on the field. We may need a full conference here with 33 seconds to go.
When they get together to decide, what'd you throw yours for? Well, I threw mine for this. Actually, at this stage of the game, just take the most significant penalty, tack it on either way, and let's ride this puppy out.
Again, the last time 2 first-place teams met in the Grey Cup was the '98 final between Calgary and Hamilton. Only 3 times since 1985 have first-place teams met in the Cup. Will it be Edmonton and Montreal? Of course, the Eskimos still have not clinched first in the West.
Too many players. Montreal. Decline. Liga block. Edmonton, number 9. First down.
I think he's had enough too. He's kind of got all those flags and all the infractions in his mind right now. He's like, okay, he looked up at the clock and said, 33 seconds? All right.
And now there's going to be discussion about who will start for the Eskimos down the stretch. It has been academic. Ricky Ray would get the start. You wonder about whether Jason Moss has done enough to regain a start. And right now he's nailed to the end zone. Is that a safety or a touchdown?
That's a touchdown.
It's a touchdown, Montreal. And what an exclamation point to put on a game that has been thoroughly dominated in the second half by the Alouettes.
You know what? If you ever want an example of never taking a play off, here's the perfect example. Montreal is coming 100 miles an hour. Edmonton's just trying to get through this game, get into the locker room, go home, think about what they did. Nobody picks up Adriano Belli, and he comes in, crunches Moss. The ball goes down.
And I think it was the former Eskimo, Robert Brown, who ends up with the touchdown. Second touchdown by the defense today.
And the worst thing is you can't fault Jason Moss on that. I mean, you got to give him a little bit of time to at least set up. I just think that's a giving up. It's an indication that you've given up. If you're going to do that, what you do is basically you go get your quarterback and you go get him a suit of armor. So if he could take and lift through those.
And now the emotions start to.
Oh yeah,
it's too late for that.
It's too late. I mean, it's great to have emotion. Controlled emotion is what you want. This is letting it get away emotion right now.
But you know, Chris, that touchdown's fitting in the sense that was the biggest difference in the game. It was the pressure that Montreal is.
Sorry.
Mistakes.
Edmonton number 95 and Montreal number 57.
Well, Scott Flory and
Albert Reese.
That's hindsight now. I mean, but the biggest thing, as you say, I agree with you 100% right now. It's the pressure package right now. They are getting pressure from everywhere. They had the last time these two teams met in August. The problem was that the offensive line and the backs who worked together in tandem with the offensive line could not pick up the blitz. There was communication problems. They didn't know who should have who, and that has been evident again today. Too many guys coming free in the middle. See, if they're off the outside, that's one thing. But when they're coming up the middle of that football field or between the tackles, there's mistakes being made because you have to protect inside out and make the farthest guy be the one that comes free. Farthest from the quarterback is what I mean by that.
Commonwealth emptying quickly. Wendell Davis, one of the up men, now tosses it back. And it's Avery. John Avery crosses midfield and down to the 50. 16 seconds remaining.
Wendell Davis go to 37 fields to kick, gets the pass to number 20, John Avery. He kicks it inside.
Well, I believe that last play that happened that resulted in a Montreal touchdown, and Jason Moss got sacked, will wake up this offense and realize they cannot take.
We got a rebound. Like I said, what's up to Big? Here's Big back at home. Say hi to all my kids. My love for all of my dad. Love y'all. Got skint up bad.
Elford's had better days. Elford Payton.
Well, give credit where credit's due. I mean, Fort, the two tackles, OKK and Fort did a real nice job on him.
And this play doesn't get off.
If there's any silver lining in this cloud.
Well, what's called a timeout, apparently, prior to the snap of the football. Do they have enough guys on the field? Maybe the celebration started a little prematurely, and that'll be one that the coach will file away.
I think if you're Edmonton, and you're looking at this from a positive spin, if you can put a positive spin on it, it's that they'll go back and say, you know what, maybe we were a little overconfident. Maybe we thought we were better than we actually were.
But you know what, Chris, in Edmonton, there's concern now because even the last two wins were, as they said, because the opposing teams gave them the wins.
Hamilton and, of course, Jimmy
Ottawa last week.
Fumble with the last minute of the game, allowed them to kick the winning field goal.
This team is first and will likely finish first, but right now they are not playing.
Well, there's some concerns, definitely. And, I mean, how would you like to be the other teams that are watching right now? You're talking about the Winnipegs, the BCs, the Saskatchewans. They're saying, you know what? It's open.
And we know how tough it has been in recent years for a host team to get there. Moss just firing that away. Nobody open, and that's a pretty good sign of frustration to end the day for the Eskimos, who were thoroughly trounced in the second half of this game.
Well, much like the last time they played, the second half was the demise of the Eskimos. And again, it's very similar today.
It was billed as the battle of the best, and there's no doubt right now who the best team in the CFL is.
On Thanksgiving Day here in Edmonton, it was the best of the East against the best of the West, and there's no question who was the best on this particular day, the Montreal Alouettes. Anthony Calvillo, first of all, let's talk about that thumb.
Well, it's cut up a little bit, but I was able to throw the ball. It didn't affect it at all. And now I'll probably let the doctors look at it and see if there's any stitches needed for it, but it'll be okay.
There was no rust on this team at all. Were you a little surprised after that 2-week layoff?
No. I mean, we've been performing week in and week out, coming in and playing after a week off. So, you know, our coach Matthew's done a great job for us, and, you know, we just keep performing. So that's what we've got to do going into the playoffs.
Defense going to get a little piece of the game ball today for sure.
You know what? That's why it's called a team win. They had a defense played awesome, you know, kind of shut them down a bit, and we were able to move the ball. So, you know, it was tough to come in this environment, but it just shows what kind of team we're capable of being.
And some trick games, putting some fun into this one.
Yeah, we always have some trick plays under our sleeve, and we always bring them out. And, you know, Copeland did a great job by making a great pass to Darren Hall. So it was a team win, like I said, and we're just going to go on from there.
Thanks for this, AC.
Thank you.
The Alouettes, big winners here today at Commonwealth Stadium. The CFL on CBC. Next week, the Lions at Saskatchewan. So long from Edmonton.
CBC Sports, Canada's Olympic Network.